Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's me, ATARi HMB. In today's stream, we're going to be analyzing, again, a sense of scaling. There's going to be part two compared to the last video. This time, we're going to be talking a little bit more about how to power scale, sorta. We're going to go over a couple of nuances about power scaling, some important takes to take about it, how misinformation has always been contrived throughout the community, and why it's important to kind of start from scratch and kind of re-dissect a lot of what we've been given. I'm going to go ahead and go into an example perfectly today. Let me go ahead and look at this for a moment. I just want to say what's up, LeBron James. What's up, IDK? What's up, Xeno Gaming? Hey, how's it going, everyone? What's up? Yeah, what's up, Kel? So, and with me today, I have Stride and Andre. You guys could say what's up to the chat if you like.
Hey.
What's good?
Yeah.
Happy early Mother's Day, I guess.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. Happy Mother's Day as well to the mothers out there who are also tuning into the stream. Shout outs to y'all. And without further ado, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and get started. I don't want the stream to go past an hour and 30. So I want to go ahead and get started right off the bat. So let's go ahead and start with why am I talking about how to power scale again? And that really comes down to what we ran into a problem with before. So let's go ahead and give you guys an example. Let's go ahead and type Tenchi Muyo versus battle, all right? The reason I'm going to use versus battle wiki is because versus battle wiki is one of the biggest sources known for really pushing the meta for Tenchi Muyo. And versus battle wiki has also been known to push the meta for Irae, which we're going to talk a little bit about as well, because we have a particular scan that people have wanted to challenge a little bit. And I'm going to be pulling up the image on screen a little bit. Well, let me show you something right here. So we have Tenchi Muyo, and the thing is you have about the series is you have some of the supporters, which are going to be the people who's providing most of the scans. And again, this is not to be biased or anything. Everyone has their own interpretation, but some interpretations are susceptible to being falsifiable, as mostly all of them can be. It's about how you solidify that argument, how strong it is, not about how many people can just agree with you. Because I've watched Tenchi Muyo when I was young, and I'm talking like late 90s when I didn't even know what was going on. My mom was just like, what the heck are these girls doing on here? But anyway, my cousin watched it. I watched it with him. And I could say that over the years, Tenchi Muyo, I later realized they are a lot stronger than they actually appear, with definitely higher dimensionality, higher levels of conceptuality. Like if you go to the higher dimension, you'll lose your mind, because they have higher level of thinking, higher level of spatial manipulation, temporal manipulation, many hacks from the Choshin warriors. However, one thing I've noticed that's going to be a similar trait you're going to see with Irae, Tenchi Muyo, as we show him with Yugiri, the other character who was, thrown all the way up there for no reason to extremely high ends. You're going to notice with even with characters from Magi or Sinbad, you're going to notice this with characters in Umineko. All of them stop or at least only acknowledge a 5D structure. Almost all of them. And that's something I've noticed with a majority of these series. They always stop at infinite parallel worlds, and you ask yourself, what's the context to give them a higher dimensionality or showcase? It's not like the Silver Sea with Thanos Boldygold, where we know like one bubble is a macrocosm. And the author specifically states it. There's a lot of intricacies that need to be dived deep into it. And that's why you can't just take everyone's word for it. So I also want to know, how's the stream running for you guys so far? I just want to make sure it's running smooth.
Running good.
That's good. Hey, all right, let's see here. Hey, what's up, Roz? Didn't expect to see you there. By all means. Oh, there you are. You just see, I don't have the Discord sound effect, so I didn't even know you were here, bro.
I instant transmission my way in here.
Nice. So
use the Kai technique.
Right. So let's go over. I'm gonna show you guys a couple examples. Let me show you, for example. Let's go over the dimensional supervisors. For example, I've talked about this in the last stream, but let me go ahead and bring it as a reminder. So you'll see they'll say 11B to 1B. 11B could be something as, hypoversal, like a one-dimensional essence, and then it says into hyperversal. You'll see this. Each D's rules over its own dimension, starting from the 1st to the 20th. Higher dimensions are seen as theoretically impossible to be ones below and overcome their laws of physics. So, according to the laws of lower dimensions, the existence of any higher dimensions is a theoretical impossible. I think it meant to say is a theoretical impossibly. I think it meant to say impossibility. So even the subs are a little sus right there, right? But nonetheless, see here, to the ones below and overcome their laws of physics. Now let's look at this context right here. And the reason I know that these are going to be most of their scans is because, no offense to Emphysema, Emphysema was one of the pioneers for it. I mean, if you look up and say, how is Kami Tenchi or Tenchi Muyo hyperversal and such, you're going to see that whole argumentation that, but there really is no evidence. There's speculation. It's all speculation. They suspect that these supervisors all rule over a specific dimension, one higher than the other. But in reality, they don't go into actual details within the series to support that. Let me give you an example. In all instances of encounters with life forms from higher planes of existence, we've witnessed phenomena that go against all of our laws of physics. But that's normal, because if we take a look at a fourth dimensional object and Adventure Time, it caused a black hole. It went against the physical law. It went against the laws of physics. Is that unreasonable? No. I mean, depending on the series, a lot of different techniques, attacks, abilities, and existences go against the very law of physics. Janemba, his existence went against the Dragon Ball laws of physics because he was bending the boundary between the living world and afterlife. Now it says here, unbelievable as it may be, they have the ability to overcome these laws. I mean, let me ask you this. It's just a general question. So let me ask you to Stride, for example. Aizen has so much Ryatsu. Can he overcome specific laws? Like Soifan's technique. Is Stride here? Oh. Hello? Can anyone hear me? Andre, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we're still here. He may be away from his mic right now.
Yeah, it probably had to mute. All right, that's okay. Let's turn the question over. Andre, the Hulk. Doesn't the Hulk have so much gamma radiation it bends certain laws of physics itself, and they could overcome specific limitations of laws of physics?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Chris with Orochi's possession? Roz. I'm just asking that in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's certain laws of physics you can bypass with enough power, right?
Yeah. In fact, it's even confirmed, when Chizuru, who's on the three psychic treasures, is talking about, how the order of the universe is being, tampered with and messed.
Uh-oh. Sorry, my Discord decided to mess up on me, guys. So give me just 1 minute. Technical difficulties. All right. Let me get him. Let me see if I can get him back. One moment. Dun. Sorry, I think future Trunks. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm back.
All good?
Yeah, you can re-explain again.
Oh, okay.
Chizuru, right?
So when Chizuru and Kyo were talking about, the current events going on, how the natural order of the universe seems to be changing at the moment, like it's being altered, Kyo immediately pointed to Chris, Shermie, and Yashiro, three of Orochi's, heavily kings. So Kyo, going off of his experience with them and his fight against them, is pretty much outright stating that the very laws and foundation of the universe is being changed because of them, even though she was implying verse. So
Perfect. That's a perfect explanation. And I'm going to continue to read the rest of this. So it would seem that not even our basic notions of physical laws apply to them. All right, cool. But this scan is just explaining how higher dimensional beings overcome specific laws. This scan here, it says each D rules over its own dimension starting from 1st to the 20th. Higher dimensions are seen as as a theoretical impossibility to the ones below. Really? That's just a statement from the Choshin, because it says according to the laws of lower dimensions, the existence of any higher dimension is theoretically impossible. But lower dimension of what? These humans we talking about? Because we don't see any examples of a fourth dimensional being saying, how could a fifth dimensional being exist? Until we get examples of that, we can't make that assertion. And as a result, they say to the ones below and overcome their laws of physics. Well, this could just apply to any 3D being at infinite levels or 4D. So this again, like for example, if you talk about someone like Hit, it doesn't really work it doesn't work. So again, it's not something I would even give a comparison to. So and then you have the lifting strength. I already have my opinions about that and gripes. But let me go ahead and read a little bit of what chat thinks. I'm going to be honest. They put them on those high levels because of the wording. And since they're not recognized verses, they don't get debunked as much. You agree, ATARi? IDK, that is the perfect. You just nailed it. You nailed it perfectly. And what's up, Xeno Gaming? What's up, Shadow Nightmare? What's up, Timothy? You guys are perfectly correct. Because nobody is going to watch Tenchi Muyo, whether it's Tenchi Muyo OG, Tenchi Muyo GXP, etc. Nobody's going to watch it like that. Now, you'll have Choshin. Oh, man. 1B, Hyperversal. Created and transcends all the known multiverse with her sisters. And said it possesses at least 20 dimensions. Where does it say she has 20? They're asserting she has 20 off of the D's. So it's never clearly stated from her. And it just goes over the same thing, reposting the same scans. Now let's ask this. Tenchi Muyo, how many dimensions are there? If I type that, it might bring up that old law. Yeah. So 20 different dimensional, and in different dimensional stewards or D's have been shown in total, with each ruling over an ascending dimensional space. But here's the question. Where in the series does it actually say that? D4 rules over fourth dimensional space. And my problem with this is that it's not that I'm trying to deny it, but where in the series do they actually state it? High level energy is being generated in combat area at present. Okay, this is D3. So this is D3. And they said Z is at least a fifth dimensional being. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they can't have crazy hacks. But it's not shown. I'm saying I'm going to destroy... Let's see. I'm going to destroy everything in this space. Yeah. Yeah, no. There's nothing that shows this level of consistent power. That they're all infinitely beyond the next. And I think that's the main thing. If you've done your research and you searched up and say, how, where does the M theory, where does the bosonic theory come from? For example, this would also fit closer to the scientific theory. There are 26. Guess whose comet this is? I don't even need to click on it, but guess whose comet this probably is? This is probably Aunt Visima's comet. We'll go ahead and give you guys an example and show you that. Ha! A versus battle moderator, as I called it. There you go, chat. I called it. You see, the reason for my confusion lies in this image. All right, let's see the image. Okay? Yeah, the dimensional stewards. This is D3, his big head. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. Here, we seem to be shown 22-dimensional supervisors, which taken on its own makes 22 dimensions, right? However, complicating the issue, I vaguely remember D3 originally showed at the bottom of this image. The only part of it is shown, which makes 22-dimensional supervised area, and in addition, D3 making 25 dimensions in sum total. This would fit closer to the scientific theory that there are 26 dimensions in real life. I mean, bosonic theory, by the way. Another theoretical model says 10 to 11, but I digress. So, Roz, what do you think about this so far? You too, Andre.
None of this. It seems like they're going off more like hearsay, like, oh, it seems to be the case that this has, in theory, bosonic theory, or anything like that. It's not outright stating it. So,
right, like, do they?
It's like headcanon, essentially.
Exactly, like
speculation.
Precisely, yeah. Like IDK said it in himself. Let's see, IDK said himself, 20 dimensions, but they transcend each other. For example, even, and keep in mind, this post is old. Like, this is real old. This is from 2014.
God, yeah, that is a long time ago.
That is D3 that's highlighted in the image. You can also see, but D3 is moving during the scene. Then they zoom in on him. Aha, so there is D3 plus the 22 supervising that scene. Thank you for the help. Now you could see there's no level. Yeah, when people ask questions, because I remember an old question, people said, where's the proof that these are transcending one another? There is none. I'm gonna go to my old conversation with Roz, where I sent him a couple of screenshots, and I'm gonna post those up on the stream so some of you guys could see it. And this is just to give you guys an idea of exactly why I said the importance. This is why I told you guys the importance of that type of scaling. It's important. Let me see here. So let me see here. Look for it. Let me see if I can find it. But
we had a lot of conversations. That's going to be a minute.
It's not going to take... Fortunately, I could just quick search it. But it's kind of like the same thing, It's like I've seen these arguments before. Oh, yeah. Yep. Bunch of gish gallop.
Bunch of football.
Yeah. You remember that? Yep. Because I could see it too in the chat. But overall, guys, to give you a better to give you a simplistic understanding, the Choshin, we're not gonna sit there and say they're weak and this is like a fodder verse, not at all. But we're not. They're definitely being pushed in the narrative. So let me go ahead and give you guys this image right here. Well, it certainly wasn't your first time witnessing a high-level dimensional life. With anyone else, with anyone else, I can make logical computation of existence. But Lady Tokiyama, her very existence is impossible, even though she was presented right there in front of us. And yet, no such information was found anywhere in the data bank. Nonsense. The absolutely complete ring of theoretical system is established here in the databank. Absolutely everything is known here, even though we are not able to comprehend it at all. So basically, she is at a dimension, based on the dimensions they can discover, she's the dimension beyond that, where they don't have any data on her. But, again, you have a lot of, not death of the author, but like author lock. Statement locking or soft locking. You could be soft locking the statements like that. Oh, we know everything. Well, you don't, because you don't know about her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we were troubled by a single contradiction. The series itself just acknowledged it. We were troubled by a single contradiction, the trauma of the existence of a being greater than ourselves. However, we are cognizant of the fact that we are omnipotent. Okay? Now, again, we need to be careful with that statement, right?
In which way are they talking about it? Are they implying all powerful? I mean,
Yes.
what are they talking about?
Yes, compared to everyone else. But it says Zero couldn't recognize Tokiyama back then. It had perfect knowledge, so why couldn't it grasp her existence? Then it's like, okay. It doesn't matter if they can recognize it. They can't. It has perfect knowledge. Yeah, on the multiverse, but if beings are outside the multiverse, doesn't tell us much. She says the hyperdimension does not abide by the laws of our lower worlds. Of course, it would not understand. There you go. It is basically saying, like, it's like, imagine if you tried to have Zuno, who literally knows everything, even beyond the multiverse and stuff, but like from Dragon Ball. Imagine if Zuno was only locked to knowing stuff about Universe 7. And you ask him about Xenoworld. What would he tell you? Nothing.
I don't know.
Pretty much.
It says, so who's to say you're not experiments of even higher beings? And it says, Zero's so intelligent. Merging you two was smart after all. So basically, she's basically asking the paradoxical question. Yeah, but how do we know you're not from a higher dimensional being? Which is cool that they're acknowledging possibilities, but the bottom line still stands. There's not enough evidence for us to jump to the conclusion that each individual supervisor is this much significantly higher. And that goes for a lot of things. So, let me give you an example of acknowledgement. Don't move. You'll tear the third dimension apart. Cool. There we go. Now we're starting to get numeric dimensions, right? But let's move on to a second scan. A scan that describes the Choshin. They're hyperdimensional. Hyper just means more. They're hyperdimensional beings that go beyond even higher levels. They're the creators of infinitely linked universes. Okay, so where do you scale the Choshin now, since they're the creator of infinitely linked universes? What does that tell you? They're Andre, Roz, what does that tell you guys?
I'll let Andre go. He's better stop first.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, it says they're infinitely. It says they're hyperdimensional beings that go beyond even higher levels. They're the creators of infinitely linked universes.
Seems like they're telling us that there's like higher dimensions. We don't know to what extent though.
Right. And so we can't assume this means hyperversal. We go off of what we have available. You can make certain assumptions as long as they're within reason. Like when we make an assumption that the neutral zone is bigger, infinitely bigger than the macrocosm, that's a reasonable assumption because the neutral zone is holding infinities, 12 of them, and yet it has stars that seem to expand also infinitely. So even if we say the neutral zone was an infinite, the timeline that contains it all axiomatically has to be infinite. So even with an extreme lowball, still got 5D timeline. Even if you lowball everything. I mean a 6-dimensional timeline. So we use logic and reasoning, axiomatical functions. We know the Choshin are beyond the multiverse. So if this multiverse is 5D, we can conclude they're low complex, right?
Right.
Yeah, at least.
But what evidence do we have to say they're hyperversal? We don't. Besides the supervisors. But how do we know the different dimensional supervisors? How do we know they're not just different shapes, different areas, different pathways of dimensions? That term dimension is so misused, we can't see if each dimension is infinitely transcending one another. It's never always like that. And yeah, it's Tenchi Muyo R-Storm, by the way. Can't beat Xenogoku, so they do transcend. Yeah, they do. But you'll see people will take this and go to hyperversal. Now let's move on to our next series, because we're at 26 minutes within the stream. Let's go ahead and give you guys another example. I want to go ahead and go into another one that's very commonly popular, Daisier. I know there are YouTubers who scale it and go all about it, but like, again, I used to have the old scan for it. Let me see. Let's see here. I got so many scans. Yeah. It's all in me and Roz's old conversation because we talked about this stuff before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A crap ton.
Let's go ahead and all right, let's see here. I'm not going to take scans out of context to downplay, but I'm going to show you some scans that people tend to take and extrapolate to a high degree. You guys are going to now understand exactly why I drew this image. You're going to understand why I drew this image. All right? Because I don't believe Reinhardt is someone who's going to blink away Dragon Ball. People believe Reinhardt could beat Pre-Retcon Beyonder and stomp him. People believe Reinhardt could one-shot Lucifer Morningstar from Vertigo DC.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do.
They think Reinhardt can stalemate or go or beat even Featherin from Yumi Neko. Which probably can. Because I also don't really... I'm starting to also be very skeptical on Featherin being out reversal for a particular reason. But let's go on. But he too was now a universe of his own. All the destructive love that his friends and father, his kindred and prowess unleashed upon his being was filled with unfettered joy. So we're going to run into a lot of Grant Morrison type of writing, and it's basically flowery writing. And it's not to disrespect the series. We're going to run into a lot of that. Now, don't get me wrong. Yumi Neko's crazy. I mean, Yumi Neko, bro. There are higher dimensions. There are higher dimensions that treat other dimensions as if they are a painting on a wall. Like, as in, no matter what they do, they can't win. So there are going to be statements where they'll show in Daisier where there are characters who are so infinitely above, the others are just like a painting. Like, bro, I could do whatever I want to this painting. But then you have statements like the Executioner Blade severed the universe of strife, turning 5. You know, it goes on. Not even Gold himself was a match for the speed of time itself. And obviously, that's taken a little out of context. There's more context to it. But there's going to be a lot of statements that also get taken out of context. So, for example, let's go over this. Both Reinhardt and myself, which is Ren Fuji, were emanating our worlds as we spoke. The victor of this duel would paint the world anew in his color, and color is like your will, essentially. But anyway, which I couldn't allow to happen, neither for him nor myself. So these guys literally destroyed, recreated the universe multiple times. And the Taigyoku, it goes deeper than that. You have the Taigyoku, which goes beyond infinite concepts. But the problem is, what does infinite concepts mean? Because when people think infinite concepts, when they see that scan, they're thinking DC, bro. Like the endless.
That's just the endless and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking. And I'm like, bro.
Nah.
It's a huge assumption.
Yeah, exactly. And so, essentially, it comes down to the worst part about it is you do not want to assume a character is automatically out reversal because of some arbitrary statements or some flowery wording. You never want to do that. Because when you do stuff like...
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. Go ahead, though.
No, you're fine. So, I'll go ahead and read a couple scans. We got a scan here. Now, for those who are wondering what this says, this scan reads, an attack from a higher dimension to a lower dimension is easy to get through than twisting a baby's hand. There's also a scan which claims 24-dimensional barrier that protect from all sides. The absolute defense able to redirect every attack. This was what Yaku created between him and Otake, or Utake. There's other statements about cutting from higher dimensions. And then there's also another scan which talks about infinite parallel worlds, the scan with Hajun in it. But the problem I have with this is that Hajun's statement and the actual author states there are infinite parallel worlds. So it kind of still goes into that whole 5D argument. Like, remember what Yugiri, when we read about it, Roz? Yugiri kind of stopped at infinite worlds. They didn't explore too much higher than that, right?
Yeah, I remember. They really didn't.
Yep. So we got
infinite parallel worlds.
Exactly. So we got infinite parallel worlds with Tenchi Muyo, infinite parallel worlds with Yumi Neko, infinite parallel worlds with Daizire, from the author included. And then it's like, oh, but they transcend that. Look, so pretty much they're all consistently at these low complex levels. Now what? And let me get your thoughts on this scan, Roz. What do you think about this? You too, Andre. It says, dance, for all creation is but a stage. I had prepared for my goddess. While you are actors obeying script, come, let us begin tonight's grand goignal. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, grand goignal. In other words, he had complete control of the movements, the rotations and revolutions of planets, bodies. He would make the stars align to his will, prophesying absolute and unbending futures. The universe as a whole obeyed his script, and to a being who could realign the cosmos at will. Even a concept like time meant painfully little. By rearranging the Milky Way, he could make it so that something never even existed to begin with.
This dude could just mess with the entirety of the universe a long time in space. I mean, cool. He's like Universe Plus then. So that's what it is.
Your thoughts, Andre?
It's pretty much like a 40 plus being at best.
And nothing really to write home about on that one. He's not hyperversal or outerversal or boundless.
No, let's read a little bit more about Mercurius. Remember, there are people who sit there and they'll say things like, let me read these scans to you. Now, I'm not going to read them all in an ordinal fashion, but enough to kind of get you guys the idea. Let me read some of what the chat's saying, by the way. I'll tell you something that raged me is the verse about a wiki, whether Saitama's planet or not. Literally, the problem was solved out of the damn calculation instead of accepting what the author says. And let's see. IDK says, the problem with these statements is they're vague. Yo, bro, I hope you make a video about the mortal universe and DV being infinite size. Yep. Ultra Ego Vegeta. Let's see here. All right. And the calculation. All right, let's see. And a god fancy wording. That makes me so upset. Thoughts on Akutosai? Akutosai, I heard he was also debunked. I've seen Akutosai back in 2010. But it was hard to watch because I got in trouble. I mean, I was 15 at the time. But it's hard to watch because I got in trouble for it because my mom was like, why is this girl's titties flying everywhere? That show was bad. It was not for someone of my age group at the time.
I swear. Bro, I straight up watched freaking Rosario plus Vampire in the living room with my little cousin, with my aunt, mom, and dad walking through the living room the entire time.
Oh man, like one time, the worst thing ever. I watched Sekirei I freaking oh my goodness, that was terrible. Memories, bro.
Bro, I watched High School. All the things that would be horrible to watch in a living room where your family could see. I watched High School of the Dead, Rosario plus Vampire,
Yeah.
freaking what else? Oh, there's a whole list. All the thing. My dad would sit down and watch something with me. He's like, "Hey, this is pretty interesting. Don't know why her chest is falling over the place, but the action is pretty intense. It really is, yeah."
Right. So let's see here. Hajun, our storm. I'll tell you real quick. So Andre and Roz, I'm going to need your breakdown on this as well. The two mightiest forces in the universe clashed. In that brief span of time, Reinhardt had unquestionably ascended to the level of omnipotence. He would devour even dark matter, making it bend to his will. What do you guys think of that? Hyperbole? Real? What do we think of it?
It's more so hyper.
No.
hyperbole.
What do you think of it, ATARi?
I already know
I'm
it.
back. I'm back.
What's
I'm
up?
back. I'm back.
All right.
Good, man. What's going on?
We were just reading over Irae, talking about, because there was a lot of statements that people thought that Vegeta can't do this to Reinhardt because everyone believes Reinhardt's outerversal. They believe Reinhardt could beat pre-retcon Beyonder. They believe they believe Reinhardt can beat could solo all of DC, including even the presence. So we got to put a stop to that.
It's a pretty lofty claim there.
As always. So again, it just, what was you saying, Andre?
I'm just saying this sounds like hyperbole.
Yeah.
I have to agree on that one too.
So let's see. He would devour even dark matter. Well, again, I just wanted to kind of bring this up to people who were unaware. According to Dragon Ball, being an interview with Professor Fudamase, professor of astrophysics and meteorology at the Kyoto Sangyo University, Faculty of Science, specialist in general relativity and cosmology, engaged in a theoretical and observation research using a gravity lens of dark matter and dark energy. Read Jump comics through the Dragon Ball serialization, and as you can see through the interview, the acknowledgement, such as negative mask, Dragon Ball having negative mass and dark matter, is literally, it's not even the biggest amp, but it is good that they acknowledge it, because now we know Hakai destroys all matter, right?
Right.
So if you have dark matter, do you think Beerus gives a damn?
No. What does dark matter mean to Beerus?
He could devour dark matter, and Beerus like, I don't give a damn, I'll destroy dark matter. Your spirit, your soul, your essence, your conscious, I would destroy all of it with Hakai. If your key attacks, which can attack higher dimensions, hits me, aka Topo, it gets erased. I don't think people really understand how extremely powerful that is. Dragon Ball doesn't use flowery wording, though. Now imagine if Dragon Ball was written from Grant Morrison. People would think it's outerversal.
Yeah, the only time we'll ever get, Goku being at a much higher level, and that's if Dragon Ball has flowery wording.
Yep.
Like poetic wording, essentially.
No. In fact, Stride.
What's good?
Where if Grant Morrison wrote Bleach, like at least if he wrote Bleach, let's just say he wrote the Fullbringer arc, where do you think people will be scaling Fullbringer arc Ichigo? Just because of Grant Morrison's style of writing.
Hyperversal into boundless.
And like all jokes aside, like that's actually a true statement. We
Yeah.
it's actually it's a real statement, a lot of people don't actually realize this, and this is why we're doing this stream in the first place. I mean, let me see here. I was talking yesterday with a fellow subscriber. I think his name started with an E. But we were talking. I think it was Electron X. We were talking. And we was reading Final
Don't
Crisis.
mention his name.
Damn. We was reading Final Crisis ourselves, and we was just like, damn, Grant Morrison makes it seem like they're boundless. But when you look in between the lines, you realize, all right, chill. So, even here in Dragon Ball, Bulma made a time machine by herself in the future. Is creating a time machine in the real world theoretically impossible? We don't know yet. However, the physics, we are yet to prove that creating a time machine is not possible. For now, let's just assume creating a time machine is possible, shall we? Because again, we're talking about Dragon Ball. At this time, we've confirmed that speeding up and down the flow of time is possible. We can't manipulate it to a great extent, but we are able to speed it up and slow it down by a tiny fraction, which involves both the speed of light and gravity. Which that should tell you, which kind of makes sense, given that Goku had trouble with the instant transmission out of the black hole, etc., etc. But they go into a lot of more details if you guys want to read it. The negative mass. They go into the negative mass, how Bulma was able to utilize that. But anyway, we're not going to get into that too much. We're going to focus back on Daizere. Well, let me read a little bit of the comments. Bending dark matter seems legit. Not to downplay, but the evidence doesn't even put this at complex. Agreed. Complex multi. If you're stronger, you can tank it. We don't know. We don't talk about. All right, ATARi. Do you, if there are any anime or visual novel characters that reach high outer versal? Ming Hao. Ming Hao's one of them. Featherin, I don't think she is, but there's reasonable argumentation to suggest she could be. But again, the creator of Yumi Neko. Oh, it's the author. No, it's not. Where does it say it's the author? Well, but he's the author created Yumi Neko. It doesn't matter, right? What do you mean it doesn't matter? Is he Ryokishi 7? Ryokishi 07? Is the publishing group stated to be the creator? Yeah, stop. Enough. Because if that's the case, Bayonetta and Asura should all be out of Versal then. Because they're above their creators. But the creator of Bayonettaverse is not the same as the actual designer. So relax. If that's the case, there wouldn't be no need for Bayonetta 3 unless they're going to do what Sora they do to Kingdom Hearts, power reset. Anyway, check this guys. Check this scan out before we move to the next topic. Hey, the universe has yet to show the grander Baquette, Grammy the Unknown, the supernova, and the light of absolute destruction clash. Their godhoods melted into an explosion of mutual synergy, transcending to infinity. As such, the ephemeral moment left behind in this race of evolution found itself at a grave disadvantage. The interminable netherworld could not keep up with the struggling eternal recurrence and boundless destruction. Boundless.
Boy, this isn't telling us anything. It's just so much fancy wording.
So many adjectives, right? Because transcending to infinity, okay. Infinity. So transcending infinity or transcending to infinity? Those are two different sentences. Because when you say transcending to infinity, all right. Yeah, makes sense. They got Taigyoku level fighters. They should be transcending to an infinity greater than the multiverse. The multiverse was infinite. Again, low complex. You see no reason to deny that. But boundless destruction. I mean, when you're talking about infinity, that's an appropriate adjective in this context, right?
Yep.
So again, my guy, you don't know how to power scale. Stop creating scaling vids. There are multiple out-of-versal anime. Who is this?
Who said that?
Who is this guy?
Not the same guy to talk about transcending concept as outer versals.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm not gonna bully, but this is the perfect example. Let's use Swooz Up in order to talk a little bit about this. Yeah, let's use him. All right.
So okay. I mean, you're probably not going to bully, but I'm sure as heck about to if he says something else.
ATARi, we can debate it.
Boy,
No.
that's all.
No, we're not going to debate. We're not going to debate it because the whole premise of what we're talking about is exactly what people like you do, which is talk about making an assumption, coming in someone else's stream, and then you say things like, "Oh, you don't even know how to power scale. Stop making videos." Then get off the channel. Simple. Make your own. That's all you got to do. All right.
Make your own channel. Talk about how as many out-of-versal anime that you want to, and don't come in here and try to start smoking here. Because let me tell you something. If we don't decide to smoke you, everyone else in the chat will, and they are ruthless. So
Yeah.
don't come here trying to start some bullcrap.
And like Sarah Z stated in her video, debate why debating sucks. Let's say if you did do a good job on a debate, winning a debate doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't. I can argue with my sister, my younger sister, why apples are not healthy, even though they are objectively. But doesn't mean I'm right because I won the debate. No. There's people out there who don't have enough skill in debating. And the thing is, I'm not about to waste my time debating about something that we're discussing about right now. Before you have a disagreement, you should understand what our whole premise is. Because again, all this wording transcending to infinity. If this wording is allowed to get from outer versal, then pretty much I can get Bleach, Naruto, and Dragon Ball to high outer versal with their weakest characters. I can get what's his name? Kagumi from freaking Kuroko no Basket. When she said, "Oh, it's unmeasurable, his talent." Oh, he's outer versal, bro. You relax. Relax.
I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think Goku complex multiversal? Yeah.
No. Not today. We no. Anyway, continuing on. It goes on to the next scan. He could see the pieces of omnipotent throne drift about him. He made a wary smile, surrounded by lights of countless twinkling stars. So here I am yet again. He would reaffirm his own ineptitude each time he reached this point. He had long since lost count of how many times he felt this. But the throne is omnipotent, and the Taiyoku transcends that, bro. At best, you're talking mid-complex. So relax. Relax.
And again, omnipotence in this regards. Like, go ahead, Andre.
I miss anything?
Nah.
Really? No.
Nope.
But I'm sorry, but omnipotence. Okay, I hate having to clarify this so many times, but just because and Japan's known for this, okay? Most Japanese media is known for this. When they say something like omnipotent or not omnipotence, they're essentially talking about either the strongest in that moment or something like that. They're not talking about them being legitimately God, who is unreachable or anything of that sort.
Right. What happened?
Yo, ATARi. Swole's up's in the chat, bro. He's in the Discord. Woo!
Yes.
Yo, what's good, Swoles? What's good, man?
Let's continue with the stream. If you don't mind.
No, he's calling you. He's calling you names and stuff. Chat.
Then I can ban
him. Just ban him.
This real ATARi don't.
Salty?
Should we entertain? Should she see? Oh, hold on. Before you do anything, see, guys, this is why I'm not even calling him my boy because we're friends. I'm just saying it in a sense of like this is why Seth was a menace in his Discord Because people, remember I told you before a while back, Stride, I said, yo, I understand Seth now. Remember I said that? I was saying that because this is why Seth can be a menace at times when it comes to the people who just enter his Discord and such, or his chat, because they come in with this arrogant attitude, and then I gotta be a menace and turn into Zebra from freaking Toriko and be like, don't get cocky. And then gotta put him, you know? NBA Swole never broke up again. Anyway, who is the guy who is talking in the vid other than ATARi? Gonna go confront him. Ooh,
he wants smoke from me.
Ooh, it's either you, is it you or Stride?
No, he wants smoke with me.
He said Hop and VC. You guys want to do it?
I mean, you know what? We can hear him out. You know, we can hear him out.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'll be.
So what's up with you coming in the chat, talking a lot of trash?
You know I talk trash, nigga. I know my shit. Keep talking about some. Oh, this that bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, relax. You're not gonna come in here. Yeah,
calm down. ATARi, I got this.
Yeah. No, I muted him. You're not gonna start cussing out because that's not how you articulate yourself if you're trying to debate someone. All right. So I'm gonna unmute you, and we're gonna talk like civilized people. Because if you're coming in here to debunk somebody or prove your point, coming in here with that fake demon time energy is not going to get you anywhere, bro. So we'll do this again.
To answer this, ATARi, real quick. None of us agree to debate you. I just said we're going to hear you out.
Hold on.
So
okay.
Say your piece.
I never said that we're going to debate. Nor I'm just discussing this with you guys. Since you guys have no understanding of what conceptual transcendence or being out of versal is, you give me an example of if you said this, that would make Goku and Ichigo out of versal. That would not make sense. You don't understand concepts as a whole. And then when you talk about power scaling, you I don't get.
So what's a concept? Tell me what a concept is.
It can vary to plate. Basically, it's an idea, but can vary into platonic ideas, etc., to make you out of versal.
So if a fiction doesn't state as a platonic idea, wouldn't that be just asserting a no limits fallacy?
No, for what, bro? What?
Well, if you assume assume immediately everything's an immediately.
Okay, I'm gonna explain this to you simply. It doesn't have for you to be out of versal. It doesn't have to be a platonic concept. That's first out of what I'm about to say. Second of all, you don't have to say something is a concept for you to transcend it. It's shown. Let's say I transcend time. That can just mean I become out of versal. That can literally mean I become out of versal.
Why?
That's because you're transcending time.
Okay. In what regard? Do you know what a temporal dimension is?
Yes, I'm aware of what the temporal dimension is.
So explain to me what time is.
Tell you what time is?
Yeah, because time is a very flexible statement. I mean, if you say a character transcends all of time and space, which you see that in a lot of fiction.
Okay, I'm transcending the concept, the idea of it when he says all time and space. You're a temporal dimension and oh my lord, a temporal dimension and time is two different things. Don't get that confused, brother.
Okay, so why is time regarded as a temporal dimension then? What is time itself?
What?
What is time itself?
I literally just said that can be two different things. Okay. A temporal dimension is just a dimension that's time, right? One-dimensional time, etc., right?
No.
Yes or no? Mm-mm. Then what is a temporal dimension?
Temporality is that which is able to record the change that occurs in another dimension that may be spatial. Temporality is not spatial, therefore it's not material based. It's not actually material itself. Temporality is what allows the spatial dimension to change. That is the structure of temporality, hence why there can be higher temporality. You see examples of this not just in other fiction, but as well as in theoretical string theory. So when you say...
All right, give me an example then. Give me an example right now.
Okay. Hypertime in DC. You have time, which abides by the fourth dimensional manifold for each individual universe. And you have hypertime, which is a timeline for the multiverse, because it still takes time for someone to move, for someone to do something. Okay. The Platonic concept of time you're speaking of, the absolute ensemble of time, where do you draw the line to that when a character bypasses the concept of time? Especially because you see this happen a lot in fiction, especially when you see the term omnipotence thrown around and the term concept of time thrown around in a lot of fictions. If we go by what you're saying, then as I've stated before, and I'll say it again, you can get many characters such as Ichigo, Naruto, and Goku to those out-of-versal lines too.
Okay, show me then. Show me. Okay, you keep saying that. Show me an example of this, a statement of that or something like that happening for Ichigo or Naruto. Don't just say it. Show me a statement. Show me evidence.
Jiren. Vados' statement over Jiren.
Okay, no, actually, that's like been debunked multiple times. That's not really. That's just 4-dimensional. That's just a 4-dimensional space. It's really just a 4-dimensional space you're breaking. That's not. Don't get that.
You do know that 4-dimensional or 4D is tied to time, correct? You do realize that, right?
Yeah, and when you bypass it, you're no longer tied to it.
Okay, listen.
That means you transcended time.
Okay. You guys don't understand. Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. Who's the second person that said? Say that again. I want you to say that again. Say that again, please. Say that again.
You want me to repeat myself?
Yeah, I want you to repeat yourself.
All right. So let me make this clear for you. The fourth dimension is time. For Jiren to completely bypass it, ignore it, and entirely surpass it means he has surpassed time. He's at a point where he has transcended time now. Transcending time does not equal outer-versal. Outer-versal is where you surpass all dimensions, okay? Being outer-versal pretty much puts you at an omnipotent level borderline. Okay, outer-versal, that's where you can just throw around like it's candy or something like that, man, okay? Outer-versal is a very specific tier that is extremely hard to get into. We just can't make anyone outer-versal just because, they transcend time. No.
Well, all right, okay. Hold on, you know what? I'm going to do two things. First of all, I just said that can just be a 4-dimensional space. You're trying to say time. You're using that vaguely. I don't get how you keep confusing that. Hold on, I'm going to get some people in here whoa, you have to now system my shit. Sorry. Hold on 1 second.
What are you talking about, my friend?
I'm gonna get some people in here. I'm gonna get some people in here. Hold on.
Why can't you explain it?
Yeah, why can't you explain it? This is no, you're not in control, okay?
He needs his goons to back him up.
What are you not? What goons, my boy? What goons?
Nobody
just explain it.
All right,
listen here, man. Hang on.
All right. Let me say something real quick before this continues. We're not here to. This is supposed to be an enjoyable stream. We're not here to bully anyone, but I will state this. You came in with this energy and in the chat cussing and saying things about you don't know how to power scale. Stop making videos on it. And this is because
you should stop making videos on it.
And this is because you made a statement about how an individual is interpreting a variant series. Because of that interpretation, you believe this individual needs to stop making videos, and you come in with that type of energy and you think people want to hear what you have to say, and you think you're automatically going to be correct on everything.
Well, I think people do want to hear me say, because it has been the past where people have wanted to hear what I said. For example, there's this guy called Beyond Birthday who's in your stream and stuff like that. He has listened. He has wanted to hear what I say, etc., etc.
Yeah,
anyways, I think people are gonna listen because you're misinforming people. You also remember your dimensions.
Misinforming people. Hold on, let me stop you there. Misinforming people in regards to what? Because I'll tell you this straight up. Since when, as I've said in my last video, since when has power scaling ever had any correlated line to being true objectivity? You see, we're not talking about conceptual morality regarding people or human beings. We're not talking about things that change the world where we could see consequences to dictate whether or not something is true or false or good or bad for the environment. We're talking about fictional characters, my guy. All of it is fiction and susceptible to change based on an author and interpretation.
So wait, so when you scale, you're not reaching anything objective. You're saying that we're not reaching anything objective when we're scaling. You're saying this is all a subjectivity. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 90% of it is absolutely.
Okay, then how is this subjective? Okay, it's like you're saying, for example, if I show somebody, let's say for example, Amber Heard pooped on their bed. If I provide evidence for that, would you say that's subjective?
Say that again, please.
If Amber, yeah, I heard that. I had some people laugh. If you know how Amber Heard pooped on the bed, let's say I provided evidence. Okay, you know what? I'm not even gonna use that. Let's just say I provided evidence for somebody eating an apple. Let's say somebody's eating an apple, and I provide evidence for somebody eating an apple.
I would say that. Well, first, my response to this is this seems like a false equivalence because you're utilizing a real life example versus
fiction.
Exactly.
No, that's not a false equivalence. You don't know what a false equivalence. Actually, sorry, since you don't I insult you. I'm on that gang and stuff.
It's
when I swear,
that's all right. Wait.
My bro, I'm not gonna call him my bro. How is that a false equivalence? Explain. What's
Swell?
What?
Now listen here. You come up in here, all right?
Okay.
No one knows what you're talking. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and listen, boy. Boy. I have my mouse on the ban button right now. Shut your mouth and listen. Or be clear. Now you come in here, you're talking all the time. You don't understand what you're talking about. You don't understand what you're talking about. Listen here, boy. We've all been doing this for years. We've all studied this, all right? This is fiction, not real life crap going on. Everything is subject to change. That's why you can't objectively scale certain fictions, because depending on the writer or the company behind said character, said series, it is all constantly subject to change. One character could be multiversal 1 second, and then boom, some kind of retcon can happen. That person is knocked out to universal. Hence the term pre-retcon beyonder, and hence the term we have Buhan and the Kid Buu argument still going on to this day. SSJ, Ryu, and Chuck just made a video on it recently, and even they had a semi-inconclusive conclusion. Well, in the anime, it seems like Kid Buu's supposed to be stronger, but the manga, Dragon Ball Super manga, Kid Buu had half a God Ki. So now the manga's trying to suggest Kid Buu was stronger. Then you have Dragon Ball Forever saying, Buhan was stronger. And then the Legendario manga, Buhan stronger. But then, and they're even suggesting Gohan and Gotenks should have been this contradicting evidence. It's all back and forth. And all of them from Shueisha, Bird Studio. It's going to go back and forth, my guy. So so overall, what we're just trying to say is there's going to be a level of subjectivity and majority of all these scaling that cannot be concluded. It's just like we have for this scan, like here, transcending to infinity. Some people have interpreted this to be hyperversal plus. Right here, hyperversal plus, as it says boundless destruction. But we usually go off the lower end spectrum. Where is the evidence that a character can do A, B, or C before we conclude, yeah, you know what, we're just going to say this is hyperversal off of that statement? No, we can't do that, because if we go off of every statement, like I just said with Dragon Ball, we can bring Dragon Ball, Ichigo, Bleach, Naruto. We can bring so many characters to these hyperversal levels. So many. What about, remember the old scan when, back with the debate Katsuki Roz. Remember the old scan debate Katsuki? We said, man, if people had no context of Naruto, you could get away with saying Sasuke's Rinnegan transcend dimensions. Because it literally says that. I made a video on that later on.
Yeah, literally. Anyway. Bottom line is that's the point we were trying to bring to you.
All right, I have a question. Why are you guys muting me each time? If I'm talking, why do you guys mute me?
Because there's going to be a level of order in here.
Okay, then if you want to establish an order, why would you mute me while I'm talking? This guy, Chris Lee, interrupted me. Why don't you mute him?
You've been interrupting ATARi multiple times when he's trying to talk.
Interrupt you once. I did not interrupt you once. I don't get what you guys are talking about. I did not interrupt any of you guys once.
I mean, it's all on stream.
Say something else.
Then we can go back on. We can go back on stream right now, and it'll show evidence I never interrupted you guys once. I tried to talk, but I didn't. Right?
Stream. Should I just ban him and get this over with?
All right. What the fuck?
All right, look.
I'm being a bit weirdos. Like,
All right, I'll say it like this, my guy. Everything is power scaling, bro. It's not that deep. All right,
I'm not
it's
saying
not.
it's that deep. It's just
If it is, then why'd you come in insulting people who you don't even know based upon a premise that they have a different viewpoint than you do?
You guys are misinformed. You're trying to
misinform according to who? What standard?
Listen, at least let me confront the point where you made about that's a false equivalence. Since you guys are all getting your panties in a bunch because like you guys are mad about
I
that
just
stuff.
asked you a question, my guy. I said, according to whose standard? There has to be a power scaling standard because, for example, when I was on Comic Vine with Envied, one of the most annoying people I dealt with, she kept using mathematics, real life mathematics, to argue that Cantor's theory of Marvel wasn't equivalent. That's why I made that video in the first place, to prove that Marvel is a lot bigger than what she said, how there are different levels of infinity without even having to go into the Aleph Null. My whole reason for that,
right now?
No, I'm saying my whole reason for that was because just like we had a disagreement, she hates the versus battle wiki's arbitrary numbers for using real coordinate space to power scale. I agreed partially with her, but she was too prideful to kind of meet in the middle ground. The whole idea, my guy, is there's going to be different levels of interpretation, and there's going to be different levels of interpretation and different algorithms that everyone used. Back then, the whole reason me and Seth the programmer and Webcam Parrot had that whole disagreement about the world of Boyd being 5D and arguing back and forth, and when Seth's mod told me like, oh, y'all should like just not even beef about this because y'all are using two different theories, he literally acknowledged that, yeah, you're using string theory and they're using the versus battle algorithm, versus battle wiki algorithm, which is the only reason me and Seth and Webcam Parent weren't seeing eye to eye, because we were using two completely different systems. When you use two different systems like that, it makes power scaling very wonky and weird. That's why you use an algorithm. You use an algorithm so you can have a level of understanding. And that way there's no confusion like how you're throwing at us, misinformed according to what standard. There has to be a standard to uphold to what something is misinformed of. Because if there was no power scaling algorithm at all, and we just went off of statements all over the place, Zeno could be boundless through Dragon Ball. He would. He'd be boundless. But we don't assume he is, despite how much the lore tries to tell us he pretty much is. We don't assume, all right, Zeno's boundless. Like, yeah, but in accordance to what? It's based on how big the Dragon Ball cosmology is. And that's it. We look, how big is Dragon Ball cosmology will dictate the greatest attack potency these characters have. Same thing with DC. That's why we don't think Zeno can fight the Spectra or the Grand Priest. It doesn't meet that high into the level as DC, Marvel, and even other series. We just said, I just gave an example. Ming Hao was a perfect example. They went into very specific details about how he transcends infinitely transcending strings and dimensions, spatial and temporal. They went very specific into that within the lore. But these comics with Yugiri, Daizere, Yumineko, they're not very specific. It's just a bunch of flowery wording that people are taking out of context, and then they're extrapolating it to be these outerversal levels when in reality they're really not. That's the reason.
Do you want me to say something?
It's up to you. What is your whole thing you want to say? Because you said, according to what I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, transcending concepts is transcending concepts. You believe gives you access to outerversal levels of authority and power, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and the reason why I particularly disagree, and a majority of others may as well, and this, I'm not going to pull someone else into this who's not even here, but I had a discussion when me and SJ Rio talked about this. We said, well, the term concept is thrown around so commonly, we have to investigate how consistent these characters have been throughout the series to see, do they even fit the description of being truly beyond the concept of platonic time to where speed is irrelevant to them? Or is it really just a very flowery wording that the series is using, and that they're not upholding the consistency of what that really means? Because sometimes these authors may be making these statements, but it may not hold as much weight as you, the interpreter, may see, because you may be missing some points. All right, this is not consistent. How are these characters outerversal, but they got to travel here? Outerversal being doesn't need to travel anywhere. Not at all. The essence of an outerversal being can be at any point and place if he wants. He's beyond time and space, the concept itself. So the thing is, we treat outerversal as the way it was originally intended before the Versus Battle Wiki started throwing in this whole low outer, high outer, mid outer. No, before they did any of that. Because the true nature of what outerversal is more abstract than the way the Versus Battle Wiki has recently been orchestrating it. That's why a lot of people disagreed with the tiering system, because they said it's starting to fall apart now. Back then, it was a little bit easier to understand, but due to biases, they've been trying to change it up and try to make it into something a lot more convoluted than what it needs to be. So that's why we don't believe every character who transcends concepts is immediately going to be granted outerversal permission. It has to be context within that. Like, we take Deathly Endless from DC. Yeah. The context of where she stands in the God sphere and how the story represents her, well, I can agree with that. But it needs to be further lore and details into why she belongs in that tier. But if you take someone like Eternity from Marvel, we got to look at the context of what concepts does he particularly go beyond. And the same thing goes for a lot of characters. Because concepts are not all equal. If I say Whis transcends the concept of death, would you believe it?
What?
If I say Whis from Dragon Ball transcends the concept of death, would you believe it?
No, without no justification.
Such as what?
Evidence that he transcends death, or the statement, etc., etc.
So what does transcend mean? To go beyond, right? All right.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Can angels die? No. According to the lore in the series, consistently, can angels die?
I'm sorry. What makes you think that they can't die?
The lore.
Nigga. Okay. What does the lore have to do? Okay. When the lore says, when the lore
Yep. Angels
implies that.
Yep. It says the only way they can die is by breaking not even die. The only way they can be erased is by breaking the law. They don't die. They get erased. Unless you believe erasure and death are linked to each other in a different level. But again, I'm just trying to get a very small example into it. When Frieza died, did Whis need to ask King Yama to grant him life again, or did Whis just do it with a flick of a wrist?
All right, wait. First of all, that just means to have the end of the life. If you don't exist, that means your life has ended.
Okay, now what about the Grand Priest who brought back someone who already wasn't even existing anymore?
That's just life manipulation. That can just be an ability.
All right. So again, is he beyond the concept of death? Because if the Grand Priest can not only kill someone at any time he wants or erase them from existence, including angels, which should be impossible, why is he now not granted that? Why is he not granted that tier, that rank? He could erase Zamasu. He could erase immortal beings. So what I'm trying to say is the whole idea is, if he's in Dragon Ball standards, he's beyond death for the most part. Nobody can kill the Grand Priest through normal means, as they stated for the angels. As we said, it's the only way for an angel to truly die or be erased. They have to be erased from existence. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying there aren't beings who can't do it.
Okay.
But by giving you the example, I'm saying, do you see why the whole idea is, they can grant life, take it away, bring themselves back, even if they don't exist? They should be beyond the general notion of death, right? What we most assume. I mean,
no, that can just be an ability. Like, you're trying to, like, you have this bias towards this, and it's like, you're trying to, like, okay, sorry, let me think about how I'm going to phrase it. You're trying to, like, in somewhat way just say that You're trying to. What am I saying?
Am I
So it's
trying to
like,
say or
no, sometimes I'm just trying to say. It's like you're trying to like. Okay, it's a fallacy. I forgot what type of fallacy, but you're trying to make this head towards you and say that these can just be abilities. Like, no, you don't. It's like
You mean
you're not showing the difference between abilities and concepts. I'm sorry, you're not showing abilities between transcending a concept or ability. You're making like this. You're making this bias to yourself. I forgot the word to use for that.
circular reasoning? But
No, it's not circular reasoning.
why would it not be circular reasoning?
What you're saying or what I'm saying?
No, I was saying, why wouldn't that be is that the phrase you were looking for, circular reasoning?
No.
When somebody is determined to get a particular answer, so they manipulate the evidence or the argumentation in order to make it seem in their favor?
That's not what circular reasoning is. I don't know why you have to add all that to just like sound somewhat smart. It's simple. It's just when the reasoning is. It just means when the reasoning is circular. It's like you go back to the same point each time.
No, that's not circular reasoning.
That's literally what circular reasoning is. It's like saying, okay, if I say right now, if I ask you why does Goku beat this, and then because Goku is universal, and I say
that sounds more like a false dilemma when you're concluding that there can be.
Hold on. Yo, give me a picture prints real quick. I'm gonna show you.
It's fine. Look, bottom line is, I was just giving a small example. You can argue anything is ability. To transcend concepts is an ability of the living tribunal.
To transcend concept is an ability. Nah, but there can be conceptual manipulation, which could actually, yeah. Conceptual manipulation makes you universal too. Forgot about that.
And depends, because what about Shulk from Xenoverse? He can literally manipulate the very laws of physics for the entirety of the multiverse. Spoiler alert.
How is physics and concept? Okay, well,
because physics
are universal. Second of all, how does
I said law?
Physics.
Law.
Manipulating law?
Yes, law, aka law of physics. Law of physics.
Okay, so
it's the law of physics or metaphysics included in that. Since he can manipulate you, since he can recreate souls, and since he can
metaphysics makes you boundless, actually. So,
depending on.
No, just actually, depending on if you can prove that metaphysics exists in the verse, and you just argue metaphysical manipulation, that could just make you automatically boundless.
Metaphysics just means beyond normal scope of physics. Bleach has metaphysics all over. Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece.
Okay, I'll give you. Okay, you know what? Hold on.
It's in the very definition of metaphysics. I was just simply giving you a point that I was saying, when you transcend the law of physics, as you could see with a lot of characters. I mean, let's look at Archie Sonic, for example. Characters who can recreate the entirety of the multiverse, including not just his own multiverse, someone else's, which can include the afterlife where souls take place, death, and imagination if you go into the whole imaginary space for Archie's comics. So being able to
Sonic is just complex multiversal. It's not something special. You just destroyed the multiverse, which caps at like complex multiverse.
All right, and when Sigma says he will transcend the very facet of creation, what does the facet mean?
I don't even know. Actually, I don't even scale Archie Sonic, so that makes him universal.
Well, I'm just kidding.
Actually, hold on.
All right.
Okay. Okay. I'm just. You see now? Are you starting to understand? You're hearing yourself. You're listening to the stream as you're talking. Are you now starting to understand why we have to debunk these constant boundless and universal arguments?
It's just you guys don't have the ability to debunk it.
No,
we have to debunk it a lot of times in multiple
streams. Okay. You know what? I'll give you a father universal scale of any random character right now. Hold on. Once I get that universal, I'll give you an universal scale right now. Debunk it. I'll get it to you in like 3 minutes. I'll get it to you in like 3 minutes.
What I'm saying is, essentially, it's all based on the preponderance of evidence and the consistency that the series have showcased that can conclude if they're universal. Transcending concepts, we've concluded recently that just because you can go beyond concepts in a fiction doesn't necessarily always mean we're going to give you the automatic outerversal bargain sale, because there are a lot of characters who went beyond quote unquote concepts, and in their very nature has to go beyond specific conceptual barriers to be universal. If you're a reality warper, you have to be able to manipulate levels of conceptuality. Period. It's part of the rule. Reality warping. You warp the rules, the physics, and the metaphysics if the series has that applicable. Janemba, for example, Heavenly Ascension Dio. That doesn't mean they're going to automatically be, oh, let's give them outerversal, because outerversal's very nature is to be beyond all of time and all of space on a spatial, temporal, infinitely transcending complexity. Meaning there is no attack potency they need. It's essentially irrelevant. I have infinite hyperversal defense. It doesn't matter. He's outerversal. That's nothing to him. He's beyond that concept itself in general. So concepts can have tiers, just like speed can have tiers. Power can have tiers. When you're saying conceptual manipulation, we have to go into details about how far, because let's take a reality warper like Janemba. We know he's a reality warper, stated he is. Or if you don't, even if you want to argue, say, nah, he's limited to certain abilities, let's take, who's a good, guys, who knows a good reality warper that we could use, for example? Mixie, is Mixie a reality warper? Mixie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about from like the fairy thing?
Yeah, let's use Mixie on Pickling. If he is a reality warper and he's given all his power, how would he fare? Would his reality warping be something we can equivalate to Lucifer Morningstar, who has I believe he has the will? Yeah, he has the will.
Yeah. Lucifer Morningstar, you do realize that any base DC character is very universal. That should be common knowledge.
Okay, see, now, chill. No.
No.
I mean, you can laugh about it. It's not going to debunk my point.
Okay.
And this is the outerversal bargain sale now.
Batman based off Outerverse. Lucky you can realistically get him to Outerverse.
Batman?
What if there's dimensions without space and time, right?
Oh, see, no, my brother. See, listen.
Dimension without space and time.
See, Swaz.
And if you're able to like fight in there, live in there, you're Outerversal from there.
Okay, Swaz, my friend, this is what I was talking about earlier. You see, it's not that I'm not here to insult you, but I'm just here to tell you that you overall need to humble yourself, because I can see you have a level, you are an intelligent individual, but I'm saying that there are things you are missing, key elements that you're not understanding, that you're not communicating on an equal level with us to understand exactly why we may believe a particular meta when it comes to power scaling, why we don't immediately assert all these characters hit this level. I mean, if we go by that statement, my friend, let's go by Koyama. According to Koyama statements, which we can apply to movie Broly, if we went to apply Koyama statements to the movie verse of Dragon Ball, they would be outerversal. So again, we don't even take all of what he says seriously, because it gets contradicted by general notions and limitations we see in the series. We can't assume Batman's outerversal. We see he has limitations. Outerversal, when you look at its structure overall, is something that's not but limited to physics. It's not limited to any physics, no matter how complex the physics can be. If we look at Kado the Right Answer with Yahakuri, who can go up to 37 countable spatial complex dimensions. It's very
hyperversal.
Absolutely. Yeah, he is, because the context of the series lets us know he's manipulating higher complexities, because it's regarding information as well. But there are higher levels of information within that series. And in that same case, because every series follows a different set of rules, we have to make an algorithm so that certain series don't clash heads. If I asked you what's faster, the Speed Force or the Chaos Force from Archie Sonic, how do you define, or how do you quantify those two? The Speed Force isn't the fastest notion in all of DC, because in DC the limbo space is beyond the Speed Force. It's not even the limbo space is not even material. It's not even it's the living memory, as we learned from Final Crisis, right? So,
yes. And that limbo place, right, is out of space and time.
which make it outerversal. Batman spot beings that come from that place.
So if it's outer space and
Scales
time,
to those beings and
Mhm.
above them. So that would mean, objectively, outer Batman.
right? So if you're saying being beyond
out.
space and time is outerversal, then hey, Andre, wouldn't that make Kratos outerversal?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, hold on. What about Seiya? Because they're
you guys are
beyond.
naming so many characters. You guys are naming so many characters that are outerversal. You guys just don't know.
Okay,
Bro,
so I
you
get this.
realize that
Okay, I see it now.
reality scales high
Yeah, ATARi, I'm gonna
In
just.
the-
outerversal.
All right,
Any,
so
like top tier human is outerversal, dude.
okay,
What?
all right. So I get what Swaz is saying. So Swaz looks at things a lot differently than what we do. He doesn't. He uses logic and reasoning, but he loves to give a lot of beings the benefit of the doubt and be hyper literal about things. I kind of see what you're saying now, because now that I'm kind of understanding what you're
I'm
saying.
very hyper literal.
So because of that, that's why I would like to let you know, my friend, that not everyone scales the same. That's why we have categories called low end, mid end, and high end. If I go a high end interpretation for Ichigo Kurosaki, I can easily get him to 6-dimensional because of Aizen's statement. But we know it's hyperbole because of the context and feats we later see in the series. But if we just went off of just taking it hyper literally, and just said, please, Ichigo is infinitely beyond Aizen. Well, how did Aizen burn his arm? Nah, Ichigo was holding back. You could throw in a bunch of ad hoc arguments all you want, but the whole premise is still going to be, if you're beyond space-time is your reasoning for being outerversal, I will have to let you know, even the Versus Battle Wiki doesn't even agree with that. And I clown on them all the time. And even they would be like, nah. Versus Battle Wiki, the reason I make fun of them is because they have a level of hypocrisy. They're hypocrites. They love to say this character is outerversal and this character is outerversal, but then they'll say characters like Goku is still Universal Plus, despite everything that's been brought up. And in fact, Chinjao, he didn't split an ice continent, man. We need more context. It's been stated 6 times in the Japanese. It doesn't matter. We need more context. What context do you need? You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, what you're saying is not inherently 100% incorrect, but what you're saying is also not inherently 100% correct. There's a level of, are you going with an extreme hyperliteral highball, or are you taking notions from inconsistencies? Because my friend, when you said something like, when I asked you, like, Chronos from Seiya is literally the concept of time, but we like to say he's a concept of time to a certain degree. Because if we agree that he's truly beyond the concept of time, nobody can mess with him, period. Yet there are characters who can defeat him. Same with Kratos, God of War. Same with Kronika from Mortal Kombat. She literally controls the concept of time, as stated from Ed Boon. So, where we go off of that? We know her concept of time manipulation has a limit. It's same with Kronos, and same with even in God of War. Because the fact is, they can be blitzed and they can be beaten. That's why I went into that whole video about the different immeasurable speeds, because a true immeasurable speed individual, how do you get blitzed if you're immeasurable speed, or if you're irrelevant speed? You can't get blitzed if you're irrelevant speed, because irrelevant just means it happens. There is no how long it takes. There is no it's going to happen now as soon as I move. No, it has happened.
That's not what irrelevant speed means.
What?
No, what you just gave for the definition of irrelevant speed, that's not what it means. You just, I don't know why.
What does it mean to you?
What does it mean, man?
You're gonna say it's unconnected. That's dumb. That's not why it's called irrelevant speed.
Then please tell us why it's called irrelevant speed.
Irrelevant speed just means speed that transcends space and time. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Hold on. And I'll get more information for this tool. Hold on.
What?
Yeah, and beyond and quality superior to the concepts of dimensions of time and space. That's the proper definition. Sorry. And it's a world without time or space, filled with infinite nothingness.
Okay, so as I said, if there's no time and space, how long does it take for something to happen? There is no how long it takes. You, like I just said.
Oh my, what? Oh my.
If it's beyond, is irrelevant. Let me just keep it simple. Is irrelevant speed to you beyond time and space?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's no space and you're beyond that, there's no distance for you to abide by, right? And if there's no time, there's no how long does it take for you to attack, which means your attack happens. There is no it happens. There is no instant. There's no how far is he away. There is no range you have to worry
Yes,
about.
it can't be quantified. Yes, just say that it can't be quantified. That's all.
It can be it can't be quantified through cardinal numbers as we would normally use because it's something beyond our understanding. But we can use the best of our ability to articulate that. We know that if a character had a relevance,
it can't be quantified by anything.
so you're telling me we cannot use the human language that we are speaking right now in order to come to a conclusion of what something can do theoretically. Because there are theories that can't be quantified, but we still come up with them, right?
You don't understand. We just know that the speed is something that happens, right? We can't say the only thing we know is that it's just speed and that it just happens. It's not quantifying. You're trying to say that human language that doesn't apply to anything in this situation.
Well,
Souza,
with omnipotent.
what do you mean we want quantity?
So would an omnipotent?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Yo, Zenith.
Weren't you the same
I'm slamming
one?
this guy right now. He just doesn't understand. What you talking about?
Bro,
You're not slamming
NBA,
it, dude. Seriously,
bro,
you need
don't
to
say. Hold on, don't say you can't quantify it, bro. Like you're selling, bro.
How? What do you mean? If you get D1 in here, he say I be winning. Remember I beat Trey and stuff.
This isn't a debate. You're not winning anything.
No. It's not about D1, bro. I'm saying like you can quantify it, bro. Just not exactly.
Okay.
Like,
Explain how you can quantify. How you can quantify irrelevance.
We can just like define it, bro.
Quantifying and defining something is not the same thing. I don't know where you got that from.
The definition of it is beyond the concept of space and time.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
That's where we can quantify it. We just don't know exactly like
hold
how
on.
would work.
As Guardian, how do you know me?
Okay.
How do you know me?
So what I was saying, if you were going to have a character who's beyond the concept of space and time, where we grant them the tier of relevant speed, what I was trying to say is there's no amount of time or anything that could blitz them because it's essentially irrelevant itself. If speed is irrelevant, that means speed is completely pointless. There's no distance because you're beyond space, and there's certainly no time. So no matter how many infinite temporalities you want to go beyond, or the aspect of platonic time, there's no time for anything to happen at all. So what happens, period. There's no discussing it at all. You can't blitz. In reality, you shouldn't be able to blitz any irrelevant speed being at all because they're everywhere.
I mean, if you're omnipresent, you can blitz. You can blitz a irrelevant speed person.
How would that work if an irrelevant speed person doesn't?
You're literally everywhere. How does it not work? You're literally everywhere. That's why.
Hang on. So, if ATARi just said himself, when you have irrelevant speed, you're already everywhere. Therefore, you're omnipresent already with irrelevant speed. So how is an omnipresent being?
Irrelevant speed and omnipresent are not the same thing. Don't get that confused.
True, they're a state of being, but what we're saying is with the
irrelevant speed is not a state of being.
I just said omnipresent is a state of being.
No, you said both of them were state of being. You can pull up that on. You said both of them were.
No,
Oh boy.
Oh, for God's sake.
Okay,
my guy.
We're gonna have to get back to the stream. It was fun. It was fun discussing with you, my friend. But overall, like again, I'm just gonna give you some word of advice. When you come in, you can't come in guns blazing, trying to, say, oh, let's debate about it. Like this is the old times where you can run up in a dojo and say, I'm taking over the dojo and I'm gonna take your title and take your whole Discord from. Like, no, it doesn't work like that, my friend. I mean, you have to have a level of humility and understanding of. Why do these guys make these claims for this and why is this and that? Again, I can't even explain it to you because you're not granting me the permission to say anything. But overall, I think we're going to continue on with the rest of the stream because I've reached over my deadline anyway. So,
all right, that's crazy.
What? Wait. Well, okay. No.
Yeah. So we're not gonna jump back and forth into this tea party.
Bro, I slammed these guys hard in general. What you say, Swaz?
Swaz is gone, and if you came in here with him, you're about to be gone too.
No,
No,
I just read what
no,
Swaz
no,
said
no,
in the
that's
chat. He said he slams you guys.
Oh, okay.
Now
yeah,
that's Asgardian. It's
Oh,
okay.
okay. Oh, he's in here. Okay, good.
You know,
Nah.
Swaz, I've heard people mention Swaz before.
Hmm.
I didn't really knew it was that guy.
Well, we're gonna go back. Justice League, assemble back to the stream chat.
God.
But thank you for everyone who participated. Though we'll go ahead and talk about the rest on stream. Well, sorry, Zenith. Troll. I just want to say this real quick. Trolling is a choice, not an excuse. I mean, he could have came in and just be like, "All right, bro, I'm just playing, like, for real though." Like, but when you come in and you're assaulting someone, insulting them, like, you don't even know how to scale. Stop, take down your channel and stuff. You're essentially telling them everything you build up doesn't mean crap. You're misinformed about, etc., etc. And I mean, again, I'm gonna give one more example. If I went up to a Christian church, this is an example, and I told them, "Oh, you guys don't even know the Bible. Stop using it." And they said, "What? According to what standard?" And I said, "You guys are evil and sinning." You would have to ask, sinning according to what? Now, if I went up to them and said, "Oh, by the way, Christmas is a pagan holiday. Go ahead and read Jeremiah 10. And I go into the history. I read it in its original Hebrew. There's nothing they can do to debunk it. Cool. But then you ask them, it says, but what doctrine do they believe in, though? Because at the end of the day, if they say, no, we don't do Christmas for its pagan nature, we do it as a way to gather everyone, as another way to glorify the Christ, then it's like, well, damn, I just kind of came in and with all that heat and fire, and these guys are just trying to have a peaceful time. It's the same thing with Thanksgiving. It's a holiday of slaughtering, mass killing, and a very evil, wicked holiday, but there are people out there who's keeping it for the sole purpose of reuniting with their family members and giving thanks to God for being able to have a family come together every year, annually. So, like, you can approach things negatively, you can approach things positively. Which argument is right? I mean, it's not about which argument is right. It's all about how everything is being handled. So again, that's why I said all this power scaling is just subjective, man. Because if there was no dimensional tiering system from the versus battle, what the hell would we be doing, man? We'd be having Kirby slapping the Tribunal. Life form of infinite power. Tribunal has infinite power.
That's fact. I've seen like people like who don't use like versus battle and shit. They use like what they see. So the problem with that is like when it comes to like animated stuff, they're like, what do I think is faster? Not what is actually supposed to be fast. Like they don't like look into it. They just look at it like animation wise, which is like really problem. Like that's not a good thing.
Exactly. Agreed. And that's why, like, for example, in the stream, the whole reason we're talking about ATARi is not to crap on it or downplay it. We're just trying to show that a lot of these scans and statements are not enough. Who is that?
Ooh, my bad. I was taking a dump. I'm gonna be honest. What happened? I was taking a mean one.
Yo. Damn.
What happened?
Bro, you'll see it on the stream, bro. But essentially, what I was trying to say, Zenith, is that the whole point is that we were just looking at these scans to say, all right, do I think ATARi is beyond multiversal? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Do I think they can even go beyond low complex? Yeah. Do I think they can even go to hyperversal with the 22-dimensional barrier? Yeah. If I can get more scans and evidence within the series that is consistent, sure. But I'm saying on a surface level, for most people who are getting introduced into this, a lot of people ain't going to play the whole visual novel game of ATARi. And a lot of people aren't going to do additional research into the author because it's those niche type of series, like a Bullet Hell. You know how Bullet Hell is like a niche video game genre in Japan. A lot of people in Japan play Bullet Hell games, but a lot of people in America don't. So in that kind of sense, it's like a niche power scale series. Not everyone's going to power scale it, but just because everyone's not going to power scale it, don't mean we're just going to take every scan you say as, well, see, this is universal. See, this is universal. See, this is universal. Can't do that. Because if we do that, then, oh boy, The same thing can apply to so many characters. I mean, do you know what type of bullcrap wanking I can get off the DBZ Broly visual novel? If I just go off the novel about Gogeta and Broly were two dimensions of strength that clashed. Like, if I interpret the Japanese kanji on how it was written, I can literally get them to Hyperversal Plus. Hell no, they ain't that strong.
Hold on. I gotta go, but I'm gonna say like, don't ban me. Like this ever seems cool.
Yo, Xeno, what you doing?
I'm not gonna be like,
what you doing?
Shit.
What you doing, nigga? What you doing? Why you out here betraying me, nigga?
What?
Y'all here dick riding niggas.
Oh.
Hey.
I gotta go now.
It's alright. I got this. ATARi, I got this. I got this. He.
Oh hell no.
He's out. He's good. We're out.
Nope.
I took him out.
All right.
Let's go to the stream chat before any more of this happens. Zenith, you're not gonna get kicked or banned as long as you don't try any of the stuff that they just did.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I know everyone is chilling, but I'm gonna ask this real quick, right? I'm gonna ask this one request from y'all. So, can y'all help this Thor edit get big?
Suck my dick, nigga.
Who?
What? What the hell? Who said that?
That was Ultra the God Death. I'm ratting, bro. I'm ratting on him, bro.
Yeah, I got
Ultra the God.
Get him out.
Nope.
I'm a rat.
So okay, yeah, a whole lot of people did come in here with him. All right, cool.
Yes.
Well, guess what? It's gonna be Hakai and some people tonight. So.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so essentially, anyway, the whole bottom line is, guys, back to the stream before that intermission came. Let's see, 1:43. Yeah, let me leave a timestamp. I'm gonna say timestamp where 1:43. Yeah. All right, and I'm gonna put where the niggotry stops. Because that was some Boondocks level negative ignorance.
Really
that was some Boondocks ignorance. Anyway,
Fucking love YouTube, man. being a YouTuber is fun.
Bro, I'm about to turn. Yeah, if it keeps getting wild, Stride, we might have to make you a god of destruction, bro.
Yes. Maybe it will happen.
Make you the Joe of destruction.
Destruction.
Right. I'll say it this way. Bottom line is, though, chat, continuing off from where we left.
Stream chat. We'll go to stream chat. If we don't, more of his homies are probably going to pop in here to try and disrupt.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, it's bait, so we can ban them all.
And that is true.
And they keep messing with me. I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to go a little bit, I'm going to have to use some of my, stuff. Let me mute. Hold up. Let me mute so nobody on the stream. Stream chat.
Yep.
Oh boy, that was.
I'm gonna be honest, I was listening to like some of it, but I was like taking a dump. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was kind of hard to focus. It was a big meal.
Yeah,
it was a big meal.
Right. So
all I heard, like most of what I heard was just him stumbling. I don't know. I was just hearing him stumbling and whatever. I don't know. He seemed very mad.
It's supposed to be a chill stream, though.
It was
until that energy came in. I should have known better than to give him but now you guys see why we're in the stream chat specifically, because we don't want to give people that type of attention and put them on the big platform. He's using that to get his name out there and such, but at the end of the day,
that's a piss poor way to do it.
Agreed. So let's
just While you do that, I'm kind of mute myself. I'm just going to kind of go through all the recent joins who may be tied to him. So you go ahead and
hold on. But y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna say this: Winged Dragon Raw. You had a great breakdown on it, I believe. Winged Dragon Raw put it together pretty well. He says, "Dude was trying too hard to be right without being consistent to himself. He wants to be heard and not listen unless he wants to attack." And that's essentially 100%. That's exactly what Swaz came in to do. He came in with a very negative attitude and energy. Again, he came in with this whole idea that, and to kind of give you a context of its stride, essentially he was saying any character who bypasses space and time is Outerversal. And there are a lot of Outerversal characters we're downplaying. Like he even said you can
just transcend space and time and be 4D.
That's what we just said. I used the Jiren example and he didn't agree with that. I told him, isn't the Grand Priest technically beyond the concept of death within Dragon Ball, but not to a platonic concept where death to all things and nothing can be beyond him, like Death of the Endless in DC?
Yeah, you'd have to kind of provide evidence that you're transcending an infinite, hierarchical, like transcending dimensions and temporalities and such to be, Outerversal.
Right. So
not just transcending like a single space or temporality or whatever.
Right, and that's why we was using the Daizire scans. So many terms of omnipotent throne and all of this stuff, transcending infinity. It's like, yeah, but transcending infinity isn't the same. And another reason we actually, guys, we have to be careful with this is because if we're not careful with these power scales, we're gonna get a lot of crazy effects. So, for example, my wife is a perfect example. I said, who would win, Monad or Esdef? She doesn't know who either of them really are, except she just read who Monad was recently. She said she thinks Esdef could win, but she's not a power scaler. She thinks Goku can beat the Tribuno because she knows Goku, but she's not a power scaler. So the whole reason is that they're going to get answers like these, and that's the reason why we have dimensional tiering. Because if you didn't have dimensional tiering, then what? I mean, if you're taking everything hyper literally, as stated from Swaz himself, he said, "No, I take everything literally or hyper literally." I'm like, well, he said, Stride, he said Batman was Outerversal too.
Yeah, that kills me when I hear it.
I know, it's like, what?
Damn.
He's like, I was like, well, if we use his logic, Andre, isn't Kratos definitely Outerversal then? And Otama Regal, oh my gosh, high Outerversal plus.
Yeah, ATARi, I kid you not. Tenchi was about to come out on that one. And you know how I was when I was Tenchi.
Oh, bro.
Include the entire Bat family being Outerversal.
All right, chat.
Dang.
Right. Yeah, we. I'm hoping they didn't. They probably got the stream demonetized because the amount of
words that they used.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Which that's why from here on out, I'm not gonna be as generous. I'm gonna still be nice like I usually am because I'm. But like I told you, remember I said that before, Stride. I was telling you, I said this is why Seth is a menace because he gotta show them. Let me put it this way: imagine if these are like upcoming Frieza soldiers, and he's like Beerus. You know, Beerus gotta check him, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said I kind of see why Seth may have not wanted to build that reputation for himself, but I also kind of see why he kind of came in always with that demon time energy whenever someone tried to come at his neck or when he debated. It's probably habitually installed in him to debate with that ferociousness because everyone else is coming in with that energy. Then again, a lot of people could have tried to. Then again, you can have a lot of wannabe Seths, a lot of people trying to copy Seth's energy and just think they can steamroll someone in an argument. And I'm not trying to knock him. I mean, I don't like to make fun of people who have, who may have a little bit of a little bit trouble with speech impediments or so. But when you're constantly, stumbling over your words and stuff. It's like, all right, take a break and slow down. You're trying so hard to debunk somebody that you don't even know what you're saying yourself. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how cool you are. If you come into someone else's stream with that type of intent, that energy, this is what happens.
Honestly, it wasn't really even necessary for him to start throwing all that, because he could have easily have gotten a discussion much easier if he had come in more politely and said, "Hey, ATARi, I think you're wrong. I'd like to discuss this with you." Instead of him just saying, "Delete all your videos, yada yada yada." And then now you're expecting not to get banned or be met with, negative treatment, even though you came in with that kind of energy. It's really odd.
Yeah. So
it would have been much better, and it probably would have been it would have gone much more smoother if you had just come in more cordially, been like, "Hey, ATARi, can we discuss this? I think you're wrong," or I would like to just not necessarily like go on full on debate you on it, but I'd like to discuss my stance on this and see what you've got, and we can go back and forth, whatever. Instead of just, hey, you're this, and that, delete all your videos. It really isn't that necessary. But then again, a lot of people try doing the whole debate thing on it, trying to copy Seth, but whatever.
Yeah, and this is not a knock at Seth. Seth, I ain't trying to ride anyone's nuts, but I'll say he's at this point, he's pretty much a power scaling legend. You gotta give him credit where credit is due. But
it's his influence and his name is pretty big, in the scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's basically considered to be the top debater by most.
Mm-hmm. But like at the same time, despite all of that, that don't mean nothing if he come in with a very negative attitude. Again, but essentially to talk back about it, like, again, transcending a concept or an idea has different levels, like we said. I mean, we can't take every statement hyper literally always. And when I say, again, resurrection is an ability, but through resurrection, would you be able to go beyond the concept of death? Well, can you die? No. That's the whole point of immortality, to be beyond the concept of death. It's the whole premise of it. Correct? At least for the most part. Without trying to be overly complicated, when you transcend death, you usually are immortal. Grand Priests and all angels are at that level, but they could be erased. Isn't erasure a type of death? You can argue it is. Death could be the ceasing of life, if that's your definition of death. But at the end of the day, the point still be, Grand Priest, whether you're erased from existence, even if you're immortal, he could bring you back. He could remove your immortality. So that right there shows the Grand Priest should be at least beyond the concept of death for Dragon Ball. But is that going to mean he's going to have the same level of authority being beyond death and like the endless? Probably not. Probably not at all. So again, we got to be careful with that. I mean, actually, Shinigami, are they technically spirits that are dead? I'm done.
Yes.
Listen, let's just not forget the most important thing, though. From all of this, guys, if you transcend time like Jiren or Nakaruru, you're now Outerversal. Congratulations, you now have Outerversal Dragon Ball and everything else like that.
Bleach is Outerversal too, because the Dangai, if I recall, Yuha transcends time.
So, yep.
He's Outerversal.
Yep. All your favorite characters, they're now Outerversal. They're now essentially nigh omnipotent beings.
And Haguramo literally is stated to transcend time. So, Outerversal. Sasuke, and Outerversal, Rinnegan transcends dimensions. Again, you can't, don't take these statements seriously, guys. Anyway, we ain't about to do that right now. We're going to continue on with the stream, finalize the point. So, before that crap storm came along and, negatively influenced most of the flow of the chat, most of the flow of the stream, we're just going to say this. Like, a lot of characters, like, could Vegeta do this to Reinhardt? I believe, with the current scaling of how I have Daizere, I believe Vegeta definitely could do something like that. specifically because I would feel Reinhardt would try to destroy him with the Taigyoku authority, but it wouldn't really work against Vegeta because his overall aura is so much more powerful than his authority. It's like they say, your authority, you can't always overcome someone who's stronger than you. And that's why they started coming up with these, argumentations like, well, this character can matter manipulate and turn Vegeta into a literal vegetable. I'm like, okay, and Vegeta whooped their butt as a vegetable then. Vegeta didn't need organs. He had no organs as a jawbreaker, no organs. Yet he could kill Buhan as a jawbreaker. So again, still goes down into the same rabbit hole. We have to be within logic and within reasoning. So would this happen to Reinhardt? Likely to be the case, but don't get it twisted. Reinhardt could definitely catch Vegeta with a lot of different conceptual level hacks that he has, but that's assuming he can catch Vegeta with it while Vegeta's off guard in the first place. Again, there's going to be a lot of different levels you can interpret this argument. He has a lance that transcends time. It doesn't miss its target usually, but then it comes down and it always destroys its target. But it's like, well, does it destroy Vegeta? Because Vegeta is so much stronger than him if we're using an anime interpretation. You know what I mean? It's a crazy ladder. So again, be careful, guys. I saw a video. Why single xenomorph slaps Goku? What are your thoughts on that? I have no thoughts on it. I haven't seen the video yet for the time being. But ATARi, maybe off topic according to Donaz. But where do you scale each version of Spawn? I believe he's OP, and I don't believe he's limited to Multiverse personally. Just my humble opinion. Well, in my opinion, Donaz, me and Andre talked about Spawn before. And I believe he can go from universal to low multi. But with the interpretation of how the mother is, it sounds like it's a low complex phenomena. But because the mother can literally create as many things as she wants, it goes to ask you, could she technically create a larger complex multiverse? So it's a question that hasn't been asserted. So there are ways you can get Spawn into some insane levels. But for the most part, because of we don't like to jump to conclusions that a character can automatically just jump a tier, we just try to refrain from that. It's kind of like if I assumed, well, if the Grand Priest, or let's say if somebody can create, it's like asking, can Zalama create an infinite amount of Xeno worlds that transcend infinite other worlds and infinite, etc., perpetually to make his own hyperverse? Maybe. But we don't want to go there. You know what I mean? So usually we'll say like Spawn is multiverse plus to low complex, depending on how you interpret the absorption of the mother of all things. But the mother of all things similarly reminds me of the one being from Mortal Kombat, where it's like there are arguments to go for outerversal, or hyperversal at least, but it's very arbitrary to assume that. So for the most part, we usually stick with just the lower end. Or the mid-end interpretation. Reasonable. I feel like it's because if we just assume that he can continuously go on, we can get so many outerversal characters. And again, we kind of, within our community, we try to redefine what outerversalism really is. We don't think it's just a state of being you transcend. We don't think it's just something you transcend to. We believe it's a state of being more than just power. It's more than just power. See, you can have hyperversal power and be a 3D being, but you can't be a 3D being and have outerversal power. We typically don't go about it. Or you can if you're like Beyonder, I guess, but as you could see, the essence of what an outerversal being is usually wouldn't fit the category of having any dimensions at all. So it can happen, but it's very, very unlikely to, typically speaking, just because the nature of it. It's very, very complicated and has a lot of requirements and prerequisites to meet that area. The mother also has children as powerful as God, and Satan is probably not weaker or stronger. That's crazy. Absolutely. Is Batman Who Laughs considered 70 or outerversal? I'm confused. Well, Rage 2.0, if I were to give you a general estimation based on what I know, I say Batman Who Laughs is hyperversal. Low hyper. Reason I say that is because there's a scan specifically for DC where they talk about having up to 13 dimensions. And this is generally considered to be for the ordinary worlds. So like the worlds in the 50 where the 52 universes resides below the source, or at least below the Speed Force wall, etc., below the God Sphere. This is where I place him personally after redefining a lot of how DC's multiverse works and its consistency. Because the sixth dimension in DC shouldn't be confused with sixth dimensional. Because Perpetua, though she's sixth dimensional, her powers are not limited to just low complex. Oh God, no. She would definitely be beyond hyperversal levels, as we've seen with DC. Definitely follows string theory and membrane theory. So it's very likely to be the case that Batman Who Laughs can reach those levels of hyperversality, in my opinion. But outerversalism? No. But he has the characteristics to meet that requirement if he can find the source of power to absorb to get him there. So as long as if he could find the source of power to transcend him to outerversal powers, he has the state of being to act like it, simply because he's not really physical at all. He's not an entity of physicalness, Batman Who Laughs. So that's another thing about it that makes it really interesting. However, beings like Goku, you're not going to see them hit outerversal levels anytime soon, just because of the nature of how Goku acts. Except Xeno Goku, he's kind of built different. So, the Superman 5D amp, what dimensional tier is his AP and durability? Thank you, Donaz. I appreciate it. We like to keep things wholesome here. What about SCP? People say he is above fiction. I mean, not above fiction.
I mean, he's probably
well.
SCP.
They're above fiction, but not above fiction. Like, it's above fiction in the sense of metafictional breakage, but it's not like we're gonna say, oh, he's above Retcon Beyonders. Like, oh, no, because we don't know how to define a battle like that. Because it's like, oh, he can go beyond his author. I'm like, well, I mean, okay.
Like,
what is that?
Something to understand. Oh, my bad. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you can go on.
Like, something to understand about the SCP universe. You know, for one, it's constantly being updated. New stories are constantly being written by different people regarding the series. And its level of, like, tiering is way different than what, you know, Marvel, DC, Dragon Ball, or any series that you know of scales to. Like, it's you have characters who are just outright say to transcend, you know, infinite infinities and all this other kinds of stuff. And, you know, you have multiple borderline author level or author tiered characters within it that makes it kind of hard to really place them anywhere. You can say they're above their own fiction, but like fiction as a whole, there's really not much you can do in that regards, because just like Superboy Prime, you have SCP like 682, I forgot what it was called, the crocodile one, right? Mm-hmm. The author literally tried to kill that SCP, and the SCP said no and came back and ignored the author's intent. So, you know, it's kind of
weird. It's kind of purposely done for that very reason, to do that. And and if you guys don't mind, you guys don't mind if I go over some of the Eternal Kala on the stream, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of in that sense. Imagine if I took Eternal Kala and let other people throw their own edits into it. Be hilarious, right? But that's exactly what SCP is like, in a sense. Yeah, Donaz. We just it actually been updated. Eternal Kala story extended. Yeah, Rage 2.0, I would make a How Big is DC. I'm going to have to get a collection of people. I'm going to have to reach out to probably my uncle, who's read DC since the 90s, the early 90s. I mean, the 70s, sorry. He's read DC since 70s, like the official comics, and he still has some of them. So yeah, I mean, I know Stride. I don't know if Stride's still here.
I think he's muted right now.
Yeah, I'm
He's
still here.
I don't know if you remember. We said we were kind of going to go over a little bit of Eternal Kala. So I mean, we can.
You don't have to. A lot of time has been a little bit wasted here, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wanted that to be kind of the finale, a bit.
Okay.
So I mean, if you guys don't have the time, that's cool. I
have the time.
I'm gonna let people go ahead and scale it themselves. But yeah, the whole premise of it is I'm gonna let some of you guys scale it yourselves. I'm gonna show some of the new scans that's been updated though, of course. So as you guys could see, that's one of the old scans we had. That's the quantum kick. And then the new scan is gonna kind of give you a different visual appeal. This is a new revamped variant of it. So essentially, the thing is, I'm not going to do it. And another good thing, and you guys might be wondering, like, why do you let us power scale Eternal Kala ATARi? It's like, well, because the whole premise is, I want to. It's all for a reason. It's all for a reason. So just continue to scale it, and the reason will come to fruition. But I'm sure you guys, some of you guys, could pick up as to why I'm kind of doing this.
Yeah.
It's all a case study. I'll say it that way. So, based on this scan, I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's like the last one. Nothing too much crazy has changed besides the impact. So, the impact on this scan with W or Malik. No, I'm just kidding.
Malik.
The whole premise of W saying, damn it, that hurt, gets up to do a pyro jump. Do you see the impact left on the planet Neptune?
Yeah.
So,
wait, the impact?
Yeah.
It's like crack. You know.
It's funny to me is DC excels in animation. Definitely. The chat. This is the remaking of that same scan. The difference is here, you'll notice that it says, damn it, that hurt. And the temperature is minus 218 Celsius. And then he goes into the pyro jump this time. And then that's the impact it leaves on Neptune this time. Based on the difference between the scans, which one would you guys say it's probably going to be a lot more impactful?
Let's see. For me, actually, it was
are you talking about like? My bad.
Go ahead.
Okay. Are you talking about your boy W or Malik over here jumping from the planet, or?
Yeah, jumping from Neptune.
Yeah. So, the new scan seems to be a little bit more impactful than the old one, because you see more. It just seems more impressive, like the surface is completely like breaking apart, You see a lot of shards, you see like a shockwave. It appears to be more impactful, than the last, which it was just like a tiny crack. Here you got like a bunch of debris, the surface is like crumbling apart and shattering,
And for a size comparison for Neptune and Earth, what is this? Where do you potentially scale this?
Size comparison for Neptune or Earth.
Yeah, because if you look at the impact it left on Neptune,
it's pretty big.
And then you look at how big Neptune is to Earth. Where do you guys place it? Chat. Where do you place it at, chat? I like seeing anyone. The whole premise of this is to see different levels of interpretation, and this is exactly what we were talking about during that whole situation. And regardless of whatever he may have said or came in with that energy, it's perfect because it was a perfect opportunity for us to go over exactly why we don't do out-of-versal bargain sales. So if anything, all according to plan. So it just helped. If anything, it just helped out the stream. Kinda. Yeah, that's Neptune, don't ask. I'm just looking to see where the general chat and main live reactions would scale it. You guys are welcome to participate as well. Depends on how you pixel scale it. That's a good one. I like that. So if you couldn't pixel scale this off of a basic assertion, where would you place it at? Roz or Stride?
Let's see. Let me just look at it again. That's Neptune.
I'd say moon level plus.
That's a good one. Yeah,
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah,
I just it just looks too cool to me, honestly. I don't really care about where it scales. So I just like the artwork.
Thank you. And then this is the original scale where he's going to the Earth. It looks so jank, and it looks like this the as you guys could tell, the sun looks like it's made of like a freaking something from Party City, right? And then Large Planet Plus, interesting. Planetary, in my opinion, respectable. Large planet level, I think. See, they're going. I respect it because they're assuming that the impact is probably as big as the Earth based on him jumping off of it. So I like some of these. I'd say he's moving many times faster than light, that he jumped and left a huge crater on the planet. I'd say a moon level feat, since Neptune is so small to me, with moon level to low planetary. Yeah, because I mean Neptune's bigger than Earth, but it's not like astronomically that big. That's a good way to put it. All right, this is the fourth advisory scan. I mean, this is the fourth scan revised based on that scan. So the same scan is redrawn, except for it's done with a little more impact. So it tells you the miles per hour, which is 1,976,737,500,700 miles per hour. Why that number? Don't ask. I'm just keeping to the original source material. And then he makes the impact. E's face turns into a pancake, essentially. And yeah, this is the after effect. There's Earth, there's Venus, and there's Mercury. And that's the sun. What are your thoughts on this scan? Roz and Stride and Andre.
Pretty cool.
Pretty
cool looking.
Yeah, the sun blew up. You just like simple, like, bro, the sun blew up. Like, what else? How else am I supposed to scale it?
I mean,
I wonder how they put it all back together. Maybe some tape and glue will do the trick.
No, get some Flex Seal in there. That should do it.
It's just stick the particles back together. Yeah, you're good.
A large star level.
Yeah, that's easy hitting some freaking star levels of power right there if you're going to take out the sun.
From punching someone through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not... I see, because you're saying like he didn't hit it himself. He just punched someone through it.
And it exploded in response. So yeah, that's...
So it's like the flying impact just caused it to explode.
Yeah. Now I got a question for you guys, spring question. Why do you think most comics, not all, but most comics don't usually display feats like this? If you have feats like this, would you say feats like this is very direct about what they're trying to be?
It's basically slapping you in the face.
Unless it's versus battle, though. No, like, cause I mean, he punched him through it. I mean, it could have been the speed that detonated things, not the actual like force. Oh, okay. And like, if the Earth took that level of impact, it would have blew up. So it's an outlier.
He still tanked it though.
It's an outlier, bro. It doesn't matter. Like, what? And then you guys will say like, well, what about the quantum kick? Didn't that go through Mars, 3 asteroids, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus, and left giant holes in all of them? I mean, you guys see the damage done on Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
Nah, it doesn't matter. It's an outlier too.
Everything's an outlier for Verse Battle Wiki.
Oh man, I see a lot of pretty reasonable and valid assessments. Sometimes they don't show it because you have to figure it out by yourself. I agree. I like that impact. Sometimes it's interesting to see the slap in the face. But I don't know. It's up to you guys. What do you guys like? Do you like sometimes figuring it out, being slapped in the face? Or you like, or is it kind of a mix depending?
It's a mix, really, because I'll be honest with you. If a verse in particular gets too strong, or they're constantly like breaking apart multiverses and throwing each other through stars, it gets a little bit boring, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, like, it's like with JoJo. You have some crazy feats in some parts, and the other parts are very tame.
Laid back and tamed, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you guys obviously know the rest of the scans, so there's no need for me to like go too deep into those. About the Celestial Crusher, I didn't redraw these. So there's no need to go into that. We're going to just stop back off into where the two were crushing the universe. Or at least that's what the story tells you. I'm not saying anything. No, I'm just playing. It's kind of reasonable, right? So then going back to the original scan we had the last stream, we said that's pathetic. Even my 5-year-old could do that in his sleep. We're going to go into the page that comes after that, since some of the chat didn't see it. Okay. And here is the interruption out of nowhere where, as you can see, W is flicked, gets sent through a galaxy, and then he ends up into where we can only assume... Oh, sorry, wrong scan. Where we can only assume is beyond the 3D portion of Universe Omega. Bro, there should be a Universe Omega in Dragon Ball, right?
That would be cool.
Got the Beerus level disrespect.
Exactly. Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. And then we get from W... Ugh, am I being born or dying of old age? Just from seeing this without me saying it blatantly, what does that tell you about this right now? As the bottom left says, in the temporal dimension of the Omega universe. You guys can go ahead.
Yeah, I want to see.
Wait, repeat that?
He says, ugh, am I being born? Or I'm dying of old age.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure we discussed this in general. He's basically struggling to transcend temporality.
Nah, bro, like, out of reversal. No, I'm playing.
Out of versal easily, let's go.
Oh my god. Come on. If you can't exceed causality, being bounded by this
boy Edgelord Malik can't handle temporality. Going beyond that, baby.
Yep. Time works largely different in that space. Yeah, it's still Universe Omega, but it's now in the manifold. Piff, come on. If you can't exceed causality being bounded by this lower temporal time, then you can't hope to survive in Kala, or an eternal Kala. Then we go on to the next scan, which I'll go here. We get the typical anime. No, just kidding. We get the power up. Pyro. Well done. You actually resisted being bounded by time and did it in no time. Pun intended, of course. Jump! Goes to do the pyro jump. And what happens next, my friends?
he has beers flicked and then smashes through the manifold.
And now he is in beyond
subspace.
Beyond the normal temporal. So now we're looking at a couple of other things. Now this whole premise is to be this is done just to be hilarious. I'll be honest. This part. I just want to see the chat. He traveled to dimensions when he got hit. Makes sense. Dang, human shadow.
Dang, they caught on to it because that's what I told you when you first showed me these comic panels that you made. A human, Sonic, and Shadow.
Yeah, the whole premise is
that talking about. That's my son right there.
Yeah, like the thing is like my whole thing was like with this is that how you guys will see in just a minute, but I want to do this next scan. He got flaked, lol. All right, Roz, you could read this one if you want. I'm gonna let you read the rest, just because it's you know. Where the hell? What the hell? Smooth damage. How do you do brain damage?
All right, so it says here, you just don't get it, do you? You're crap. This is not the time for my freaking quality to dip.
Oh, I sent it to you in the general. I mean the raw and DM.
Okay, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, let me get that good old zoom in. All right. You just don't get it, do you? Your careless fighting is going to destroy the multiverse, or maybe it's time I show you what real power is.
And then, basically, you know, arbitrary looking silhouette picture and glowy glows happen, and
Monad's going demon mode.
Basically.
Only man treatment.
All right, and Roz, if you don't mind doing the honors, I will send you this scan, and you can read it, please. Yes, okay. These are drawn, guys. For those who are wondering, these are drawn.
The term multiverse varies for humans, but to people from Kala, there are levels. Multiverse level 1, a myriad of universes folded into a fourth dimensional manifold. Multiverse level 2, an infinite number of multiverse level 1s are stored into a singular cube. There are an infinite number of these cubes containing an infinite number of multiverse 1s each. Multiverse level 3, an infinite number of level 2s are contained into what we call the Shrine Shard.
And then the next scan that continues. Yeah, if you want.
Alright, I won't get. Here you go. Yet even they are not finite. All contained within a hyperdimensional nexus, Shine Quark. Yet even an endless number of Shine Quarks is a mere infinitesimal particle to the cosmic space, which expands infinitely.
Okay, and then last but not least, and you can go ahead and read that one.
Of such is contained here, the Pearl of Order, Multiverse level 6. Jesus, we jump from 3 to 6. 3 or 4 to 6. What the heck?
Hyperverse of the Bustus?
I'm going to keep going. Let's see. Yet it was still crushable from Monad's might. Nothing could describe the countless lives lost. Don't worry. Oh, wait, crap.
From the top of my head, I believe when you first showed me this was 9th dimensional from the top of my head. That's what I said.
So, don't worry.
From the general progression. Huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to finish up real quick. Don't worry, you're alive because my aura. Bad. But remember, kid, if I let go, the harsh nature of the order space would tear every essence of your consciousness and soul. All right. Now go ahead, Strahd.
Oh, we're almost done. Before you go into that.
It starts off multiverse level 1. it's a bunch of universes folded into a fourth dimensional manifold. So it's like a bunch of universes, basically. Then multiverse level 2, you got an infinite number of multiverse level 1s. So, like a multiverse plus structure, all put in a single cube, which makes that cube fifth dimensional. And then there's an infinite number of those fifth dimensional cubes in multiverse level 3, which would make that little shine shard sixth dimensional. Then there's an infinite amount of shine shards contained in a shine quark, which is seventh dimensional. Then there's an infinite number of those, and then you got the multiverse level 6.
Pearl of Order.
I believe that was then I think that was 8D to 9th dimensional, I think. Around there.
Yep. Interesting. And everyone's going to have different interpretation of these too. That's the interesting. I know there's some people who might look at it in a little bit different. Some might say some might say things such as along as the lines of the shine quark. Yet even an endless of shine quarks is a mere infinitesimal particle to the cosmic space. So, depending on what do you think infinitesimal means?
In this regard, I'm gotta be frank. I have no idea, just because of how large this set verse is that you've created. It's an infinitesimal particle. It's technically the smallest infinite particle in the grand scheme of this massive multiverse. I don't know what to say. There's nothing
Well, an endless number of shine quarks. So when they say endless number, how do you guys interpret that?
That's endless in most definitions is considered to be immeasurable or infinite.
In this context, what do you think it means?
Probably infinite.
Okay, if an infinite number of shine quarks is a mere infinitesimal particle to this cosmic space, which is infinite. So all those the green cloud is supposed to be just green clouds, but a single particle in there is infinitesimal. Well, let me ask this: what does infinitesimal mean to you, Stride?
Well, if I'm gonna go by Merriam-Webster, infinitesimal means immeasurably or incalculably small.
Infinitely small, right?
So very, very small, and in this context, probably infinitely small in comparison to the cosmic space,
which is infinite space, right? So
yeah, expands infinitely.
So if one infinitesimal, if an infinite number of shine quarks is an infinitesimal particle to the cosmic space, which also expands infinitely, then how big is a regular particle to an infinitesimal particle? Probably. Sorry if I'm using the too many adjectives.
Hold on, run that by me again. I just that just slipped by my head.
That's the fun part. It's kind of like it's like the Silver Sea. The author purposely uses certain words when he was describing the Silver Sea, because I want to see where everyone else is going to scale this. I'm not going to scale this, but I want to see what you guys think. I'm just trying to give it a little bit of a nudge. An endless number of shine quarks is a mere infinitesimal particle. So that means an infinitely small particle compared to the cosmic space. And the cosmic space is infinite. So infinitesimal versus infinity. Well, how big is a regular particle to an infinitesimal sized particle? Just a regular particle.
An infinitesimal small particle is a particle that's infinitely smaller, right?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. No, I'm just... All right, let me stop being a dickhead. All right. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so then wouldn't that mean that the atom, a regular atom, is infinitely bigger than the infinitesimally small atom?
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
And there are an infinite number of atoms.
That are infinitesimally small in the cosmic space, I believe, right?
Well, yeah, essentially a quark. So if I can break it down, a shine quark is an infinite number of shine quarks is infinitely small than just a regular particle in the cosmic space. But the cosmic space itself is still infinite, regardless. So if you had an infinite number of shine quarks and you brought them up to a dust, at least if we're using real world terms, like, I don't know, a breadcrumb or an atom, like you said, it'd be infinitely smaller. So an infinite number of shine quarks would be infinitely smaller than just an atom. Yet there are infinite atoms in the infinite cosmic space. It's depending on how you guys look at it. I have just arrived to the stream. How much have I missed?
A lot.
You miss a lot.
Again, the whole point of this is just the pick. It's the whole point of this is like a case study. Is really to showcase how everyone has a different level of how they're going to really look at this and interpret the scan, and that's the beauty of it. Which that's where definitely the author applies, because it's essentially what they interpret is going to dictate a lot of things. I mean, unless it's a slap in the face. I mean, but for the most part, I don't really have any particular area, because I told you. You remember what I said to you, Stride, right? While I was doing this.
What in particular?
I wasn't thinking at all when I was doing this. I was just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, I like the color green. That's why I thought. I said I like the color green.
Meanwhile, all of us are just going Sherlock Holmes, examining the feats and statements. I guess this is how Toriyama feels.
Goodness, brainstorm.
And then I would get the last scan. By all means, if you want to go ahead and read this, Roz, be more than happy to.
I will do just so.
Chicken and cheese.
Let's see. Let me just get this. Let me get a nice big image of this. All right. What he witnessed was beyond his comprehension. Even with his fourth dimensional prowess, he could not make sense of what he saw. Even though I stand many infinities above you, you still interest me, kid. How about it? Join Eternal Kala. To be continued.
So, overall,
also, I love the detail in his eyes, by the way.
Oh, thanks. So, to give you guys an understanding of exactly why I did this, I'm essentially making a comic that I'm not going to scale, but I'm going to allow a lot of the viewers and many others to scale, because I want to test and see a lot of things to make your brain do some work. And I also want to show that you can have multiversal stories be interesting. You can, but you got to know how to do it. So, utilizing a lot of my special effects and such that I was able to do, I want to go ahead and tell a story that you guys may find quite interesting. Oh, you're hyped for the next chapter. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So again, essentially, the whole idea is, can we create a story or a world where, even though they're going way beyond like universal and stuff things, how do we make their world engaging? And we're going to go ahead and explore that specifically. Because essentially, and also another thing is, I always was a fan of show as much evidence as you can. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I firmly believed in, was show as much evidence as you can. I'm not going to scale how strong they are. Sometimes I might not even think. You might find plot holes in it, because I'll be honest with you. This is something I've already came up with a while back, but now I'm just putting it together artistically. Now we have an audience, and maybe there'll be people interested because now it's more than just destroying, this stuff. It's more than that, right, guys? It's a story manifolding, because now we're going to look at the journey of, Stride's son.
Yeah, that's my boy right there. I'm a proud father.
Very nice.
Exactly. Rage.
Very, very nice.
Rage 2.0 broke it really down perfectly. You got to make it relatable. So what can be related to this story is the idea that somebody who thought they were pretty damn strong is getting
whooped.
Humble.
Yep. Essentially. So that's a relatable notion, because we've had our moments in real life. We thought we were the crap. We thought we were amazing. And then somebody else who's stronger and greater and better. And it's like, what? But we're just putting it on a much higher grandiose scale. Now, how do I play along with this? You guys stay tuned for the next chapter. You guys are going to enjoy exactly how I'm going to play along with this. As well as this also gives us a little bit something fun to do as we wait for each Dragon Ball chapter to come out. Anime Goku still one shots, but anyway. Jaren glares. Bro, I don't even know where I would even put them at, because I'm just putting up definitions and seeing how people are gonna place them. And if I do know where they're at, I'll never tell. It's like Danny Danny, whatever, the guy who made Ed, Edd n Eddy. How he said he'll never tell you what's under Double D's hat. So did Monad confront W and the other character? Well, you might be... Oh, somebody just asked, what happened to E? What do you guys think?
Wait till next chapter.
What do you guys think happened to E?
Not even sure. It's like he was more interested with the other person.
I mean, if you guys give me some fires in the chat, I'll show you 3 more panels that go into a whole a funny flashback for the next chapter. Spoiler.
Well, you heard him. Put in the fires, y'all.
No, they don't have to. But yeah, overall, I think that's a good place to stop it. I have to go to the store to get some lamb gyro. He got sent to the hell realm, my theory. Sonny D, I'm about to slap. This man said, nah, I'm going to hit Tsugaya. We got one from Donaz. I mean, there's only 7 viewers in the chat, so it's all good, my friends. Damn, and he got the Frosty the Snowmans. So we got 7 viewers in chat. It's all good. I mean, if you want to see it, I'll show it just for the sake of it. And Roz, you can go ahead and you could read at least the first scan if you want. I'll read the others.
No, Mona brought the mortals here. Is she really even a god? Listen, don't underestimate anyone in Kala. She really looked like an emotional train wreck, but...
Yeah, and then I'm going to go ahead and... this is great. I remember I was doing this. This was fun. It's fun to draw the artwork as well. Yeah, bro. Yo, Chakra, are you in the typical? I'm not gonna woman scream right now. All right, I'm not gonna I show speed right now.
Oh god.
All right, bro. You know I was actually finna start barking at Swaz. You know that, right?
I mean, barking at him.
I was about to start barking,
dude. No, I was about to go straight up Udra. I was about to go demon time.
honestly felt like just burying him right then and there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And he says, all right, so obviously you get that, and then boom, crash, and you have this gentleman here, my multiverses! You mean your cabbages? No, multiverses! See, I'm not finna do this right now, bro. Monad, you pervert! I was changing. Ugh. I'm not doing this, chat. I'm not fucking doing. No, I'm playing. Anyway, damn it, that kind of hurt. And as you can see in this scan right here, it's nothing, not a big deal. Oh, sorry, you and your multiverses, Azulfro. It's cool. Give him the Cleveland Brown voice. It's cool.
Cool, yeah. It's fine.
Hey, Vader. Hey, where's Joe at? Where's Stride?
That's cool.
Hey, there you are.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
All right, so overall, there you go. That's a little funny scene. Did you check out the battle wiki page of the Epic 7 I mentioned before? I will, Thor. Thank you for letting me know on that. I'll definitely check it out. Bro, W is disrespectful. He has the same color hair as my character, the human shadow guy. She did not just... My cabbages. For real. Donna said she did not just blow up that multiverse. Well, I don't know. Maybe who knows?
Just from a slap.
Maybe they're just for show. Maybe they're just relics. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. I don't even know I wouldn't even comprehend. How do you scale that? I don't know. Don't ask me. I didn't draw it. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, I did. But
now, who would draw such a thing? That is so ridiculous.
I know. Like the author must be a freaking idiot, bro. A dumbass.
Oh God, bro, for real.
With the punches, mother. On God, swear to God about the punch ban. Bang. All right.
Bro.
Oh, the Untouchable King asks, where did she come from? Oh, in case you're wondering, where did she come from? She came from this scan. It was originally here. Somewhere outside of space-time in a higher plane of existence. Yo, out of no, I'm playing.
Okay.
If he came mad, low tier god like that.
Oh my goodness. Two mortals are going to destroy the Omega universe. So this is the individual we were talking about. Same person. Just in color this time. Oh, the reason she called him a pervert is because this happened. He went to go open the door. And, well, he wasn't even paying attention. And
Why do you ever knock?
Yeah. What series, for example, such as Daizere, Yumi Neko, Kudosai, and so on, would you say has been the most wank over the high bowl series out there? Yumi Neko. Because they used more fake scans for Yumi Neko. Featherin, like I said, Featherin has the best argumentation for being outer or extremely hyperverse or whatever, but everyone else, no. No. Love the fact how it looked like a galaxy was covering her up. Oh, this? Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. GG's. Jiren still glares. Anyway, no, I'm playing. Ichigo solos, bro. And nobody is telling me otherwise.
Nah, bro. Soul Society Ichigo will fold this whole verse, bro. Soul Society arc Ichigo folds this entire verse, bro.
Facts, fam.
Arms tied behind his back, bro.
Yeah,
Eyes closed. He
exactly.
No getting clapped, bro.
Nobody's being Soul Society Ichigo, boy. You getting clapped? No. Oh boy, that was fun. All right, chat. Thank you everyone who participated and came in on the stream. Sorry we had that big dilemma earlier. But yeah.
Oh man.
But hopefully, guys, by the way, I'm gonna actually put a poll down. Hopefully we're gonna start also doing a little bit more gaming as well. I am looking forward to making more videos, but again, like I said, I gotta get a computer update. And like coming up with, it's better to do streams for me now because it's interacting with the chat feels a lot more engaging. Also, as you could see, when people come in, they got to face the wrath rather than just saying, man, like just going on TikTok and saying, I'm gonna debunk your whole life, bro. You suck. You suck. You're a bully. You're a bully, bro. But yeah, anyway, chat, I think that's a good way to end it because we're getting a little bit too late and it's already $12.14 right now. So, I mean, oh my God, it's 12:14 right now. Bro. Shoot, you could tell.
1 hour and 30 minutes, huh?
Nah, bro, it's 12 hours and 14 cents right now.
Bro, it's cinematic timing.
Cinematic. But all right, chat, y'all have a great night. This has been ATARi HMB, and I am going to be signing off. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
The